What if the child of prophecy was destined not for peace, but for absolute power? Naruto Uzumaki awakens as the reincarnation of Sung Jin-Woo, the Shadow Monarch. The tailed beasts are nothing compared to an endless army that answers one command: arise. Welcome to our epic saga.
October 10th, the anniversary of the Kyuubi's attack. The day Konoha celebrated their survival and mourned their losses. For 6-year-old Naruto Uzumaki, it was the day he died. The alley was dark, slick with recent rain, and something darker that pooled beneath his broken body. He couldn't feel his legs anymore, couldn't feel much of anything except cold spreading from his chest outward. The mob had scattered when his breathing stopped, their drunken courage evaporating the moment they realized what they'd done. But it was too late. Naruto's vision blurred, the night sky above reduced to a smear of black punctuated by distant stars. His heart stuttered, once, twice, then nothing. The world stopped. Time itself seemed to freeze in that moment between life and death. Naruto's consciousness floated in a void, not painful, not peaceful, just empty. Then something changed. A presence, ancient and familiar, stirred in the depths of his soul. Memories that weren't his flooded through him. A brutal childhood, crawling through dungeons, dying again and again. Then power, authority, an army of shadows, a name echoed through the void. Sung Jin-Woo. No, that wasn't right. He was Sung Jin-Woo. Had been. The Shadow Monarch, sovereign of death itself, is commander of 10 million soldiers. He'd given up his power to save his world, accepted the cost of regression, lived through everything again. But even monarchs couldn't escape the cycle forever. Reincarnation. Another world. Another chance. The blue window materialized in the darkness, its text crisp and familiar. The Shadow Monarch has returned. Systems initializing. HP restoring previous save data. Naruto's eyes snapped open, glowing with piercing blue light that cut through the alley's darkness like searchlights. Power surged through his veins, mana flooding channels that had been empty his entire short life. His wounds knitted together, bones resetting with audible cracks. Blood reversed its flow, returning to his body as if gravity itself bent to his will. He sat up slowly, his movements deliberate, controlled. The panic and fear that had defined his 6 years of life were gone, burned away by the certainty of who he truly was. His small hand lifted, fingers pale in the darkness. One word, one command that had ended countless battles and started countless more. Arise. The shadows responded. Darkness erupted from the ground like water bursting through a dam. It swirled around him, coalescing into shapes. Humanoid figures draped in black armor and tattered cloaks, their eyes glowing the same blue as his own. 10 soldiers. 20. 50. They filled the alley, silent, except for the whisper of shadow against shadow. Shadow. Naruto almost smiled at that. The system's sense of humor remained intact. He stood, his small body radiating an aura that made the very air feel heavy. His shadow stood at attention, awaiting orders. Footsteps echoed from the alley's entrance. The mob was returning, perhaps to dispose of evidence, perhaps to finish what they'd started. 12 men, all drunk, all terrified beneath their liquid courage. They froze when they saw him standing there, backlit by the blue glow of his army. "The demon's alive," one screamed. "It's a monster! Kill it before it calls the Kyuubi." Naruto didn't bother responding. He raised one hand, fingers splayed. Ruler's authority. Invisible force erupted from his palm. All 12 men were lifted off their feet simultaneously, slammed against the alley walls hard enough to crack brick. They hung there, suspended 3 feet above the ground, their screams choking off as telekinetic pressure squeezed their chests. "You don't get to call me a demon," Naruto said quietly. His voice was different now, calm, cold, carrying the weight of a king. "You don't get to touch me. You don't get to hurt me ever again." He clenched his fist. The pressure increased. Not enough to kill, just enough to make them understand. "If you come near me again, I won't stop my soldiers. Do you understand?" Frantic nodding, tears streaming down faces purple with oxygen deprivation, Naruto released them. They collapsed in heaps, gasping and sobbing. His shadow soldiers parted like a dark sea as he walked through them, heading toward the alley's exit. None of the men dared follow. The shadows dissolved behind him, they returning to the darkness from which they'd come. But Naruto could feel them there, just beneath the surface, waiting for his call. 50 soldiers. It was nothing compared to his previous army, but it was a start. He had time. He always had time. The system window appeared in his vision, transparent blue text overlaying his sight. Quest alert. The revive in this new world. Rebuild your power. Rewards to be determined. Failure. Death. Naruto dismissed the window with a thought. He didn't need a quest to tell him what to do. He'd climbed from E rank to beyond S rank once before. He'd conquered monarchs and defended his world against the absolute being itself. This was just another dungeon, another grind, another path to strength. But this time, he wouldn't be alone. This time he had knowledge from the start. No more fumbling in darkness. No more desperate struggles against overwhelming odds. This time, he'd be the overwhelming odds. The next 6 years were spent in careful preparation. Naruto didn't reveal his awakening to anyone. To the village, he was still the pariah, the demon child they despised. He let them think it, let them ignore him while he worked. The forest of death became his training ground. Far enough from the village that no one questioned a demon child wandering its edges, dangerous enough that no one followed. It was perfect. He discovered instant dungeons in his second week. The system created them just like before, pocket dimensions where time moved differently, where he could grind levels without interference. The first few were pathetic, weak monsters, barely worth the effort. But Naruto didn't complain. He'd started at the bottom before. His dagger work came back naturally. Muscle memory from a previous life translated perfectly despite his smaller frame. His stats were redistributed with each level: strength, agility, perception, intelligence. The system's familiar rhythm was almost comforting. Up. By month 3, he'd cleared his first C-rank dungeon. By month 5, B rank. The monsters fell before his blade, and with each death came the same question: arise? Not all shadows answered the call. The system was more selective here, perhaps limited by his current level. But those that did join his army were loyal, powerful, growing stronger with him. He recognized some from before: common soldier types, basic infantry. They weren't his marshals yet, but they would be. Everything would be rebuilt. It just took time. The academy barely noticed his transformation. To them, he was still the dead last, the orphan who disrupted class and failed tests. Naruto let them believe it. His real education happened in dungeons, grinding experience while his classmates struggled with basic clone jutsu. But some people noticed the change. Iruka-sensei, for one. The Chunin instructor watched him with increasingly concerned eyes as the loud, desperate for attention Naruto became quiet, focused, almost eerily calm. The pranks stopped. The shouting stopped. The boy who once begged for acknowledgement now sat in the back, silent and self-contained. Naruto, is everything all right? Iruka asked one day after class. Naruto looked at him with eyes too old for his face. I'm fine, Iruka-sensei. Better than fine. You've changed. People change when they remember who they really are. Iruka had no response to that. The other person who noticed was Hinata Hyuga. The shy heiress had always watched him from afar, but her attention sharpened after his transformation. Her Byakugan could see chakra, or what this world called his mana, and what she saw terrified and fascinated her in equal measure. His chakra network wasn't normal. It was vast, deep, and somehow layered, as if multiple power sources overlapped in the same space. When he trained alone, thinking no one watched, she'd seen shadows move at his command, seen him vanish and reappear using techniques no academy student should know. She never told anyone. Somehow, Naruto knew she wouldn't. They had an understanding, silent and unspoken. Two lonely children recognizing something in each other. One day, he found her being bullied by 3 boys from the grade above. They had her cornered near the training grounds, mocking her stutter, her eyes, her weakness. Naruto appeared between them and Hinata without seeming to move. One moment, the path was clear. The next, he was there, hands in pockets, expression bored. Leave, he said simply. The leader, a stocky boy named Takeshi, sneered. Or what? Demon brat. Naruto's eyes flashed blue for just an instant. The temperature dropped 10 degrees. The boys felt it, a presence pressing down on them, ancient and hungry and utterly merciless. Their instincts screamed at them to run, to flee, that they were prey standing before a predator so far above them that resistance was meaningless. They ran. Naruto turned to Hinata, who was staring at him with wide lavender eyes. "You okay?" She nodded mutely. "Good." He started to walk away, then paused. "You're stronger than you think, Hinata. Don't let anyone tell you different." From that day on, she sought him out. Not constantly, both were too introverted for that, but enough. Quiet lunches on the academy roof, occasional training sessions where he gave her pointers on taijutsu that made her instructors wonder where she'd learned such efficient movements. A friendship built on mutual understanding and unspoken trust. Naruto appreciated it more than he'd admit. Jin-Woo's memories included loneliness, years of it, but also the warmth of connections earned. Cha-Hae-in, Yu-Jin-Ho, his family. He'd given them up to save the world, accepted the sacrifice. But maybe in this life, he could have both. Power and connection. The throne and companions who chose to stand beside it. Graduation came when Naruto was 12. The test was trivial. Demonstrate 3 basic jutsu. Clone, transformation, substitution. He did them perfectly, efficiently, without wasting a single point of chakra. His clones were solid and stable. His transformation was flawless. His substitution was so fast, the instructor blinked and missed it. He tied his headband around his forehead without ceremony. Just another milestone on a much longer journey. The team assignments came 3 days later. Naruto sat in the back of the classroom, listening with half an ear as Iruka called out names. Most of it didn't matter. These teams would struggle through D ranks while he continued clearing dungeons. But then he heard his own name. Team 7, Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno. Your Jonin instructor is Kakashi Hatake. Naruto's eyes sharpened. Kakashi, the copy ninja, Sharingan Kakashi, a powerful Jonin, experienced, intelligent. This could be interesting. Sasuke shot him a look from across the room, dark eyes calculating. The Uchiha prodigy had noticed Naruto's transformation too, though he'd interpreted it differently. He saw a rival awakening, a challenge to his status as top of the class. His pride demanded he prove his superiority. Naruto met his gaze with complete indifference. Sasuke's jaw tightened. Sakura was less pleased. "I got stuck with Naruto?" she wailed to her friends. "This is the worst." Naruto didn't react. Her opinion meant nothing. If she proved useful, fine. If not, his shadows could handle anything the team needed. They waited 3 hours for their Jonin. Sasuke grew increasingly annoyed. Sakura increasingly vocal in her complaints. Naruto simply sat with eyes closed, consciousness split between his body and a shadow scout he'd sent to patrol the village perimeter. The dual perspective was disorienting at first, but he'd relearned the skill quickly. Always good to know what was happening beyond immediate sight. The door finally opened. A silver-haired man slouched in, one eye covered by his Hitai 8, the other tracking them with lazy assessment. "My first impression? You're all boring. Meet me on the roof." He vanished in a swirl of leaves. Sasuke and Sakura scrambled for the stairs. Naruto simply stood, walked to the window, and opened it. He glanced down at the 3-story drop, then stepped out into empty air. Ruler's authority. Telekinetic force caught him mid-fall, slowing his descent to a gentle float. He landed on the roof before his teammates emerged from the stairwell, hands in pockets, expression unchanged. Kakashi's visible eye widened fractionally. Interesting. Team 7 assembled in a line. Kakashi studied them, that single eye moving from face to face. "All right, introduce yourselves. Likes, dislikes, dreams, hobbies." Sakura went first, gushing about Sasuke and glaring at Naruto. Sasuke went next, speaking only of revenge and power. Then it was Naruto's turn. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki," he said quietly. "I like training and peace. I dislike people who hurt others for no reason. My dream," he paused, thinking of Jin-Woo's final wish, "is to protect what matters. Hobbies are personal." Kakashi's eye narrowed. The boy's voice was wrong, too calm, too measured, carrying weight that children shouldn't have. His chakra signature was stranger. Vast and deep, yes, but also somehow hollow, as if a massive space existed within him that chakra only partially filled. "Tomorrow we have a survival exercise," Kakashi announced. "Meet at Training Ground 3 at 5 a.m. Don't eat breakfast, you'll just throw up." "What kind of exercise?" Sakura asked. Kakashi's visible eye crinkled in what might have been a smile. "The kind that has a 66% failure rate." "Come prepared." He vanished. Naruto tilted his head, considering. A test, then. Good. Test revealed capabilities, showed what his new teacher could do. He'd approach it like a low-level raid. Observe first, then overwhelm if necessary. Training Ground 3 was a cleared area surrounded by forest, with 3 wooden posts in the center and a small memorial stone to one side. Naruto arrived exactly at 5 a.m., not early, not late. Sakura stumbled in 5 minutes later, yawning. Sasuke arrived 30 seconds after that, already focused and ready. Kakashi didn't show up until 8 a.m. "You're late," Sakura screeched. Got lost on the road of life," Kakashi said, eye crinkling. He produced 2 bells from his pocket. "Your task is simple. Take these bells from me before noon. Those who don't get a bell fail and go back to the academy. There are only 2 bells, so at least one of you will definitely fail." "That's not fair," Sakura protested. "Ninja missions aren't fair." Kakashi attached the bells to his belt. "Begin when I say start." And start. Sasuke and Sakura scattered, hiding in the tree line. Standard tactics for Genin: observe, plan, coordinate, and ambush. Naruto stayed exactly where he was, hands in pockets. Kakashi regarded him curiously. "Not going to hide? No point. You'd find me anyway with your skills." "Confident or foolish? Neither. Efficient." "I see." Kakashi pulled out a small orange book, Ika Icha Paradise. "Then entertain me." Naruto sighed. This was wasting time. He'd be clearing a dungeon right now, grinding experience. Instead, he was playing games with bells and hidden meanings. "Fine. Quick demonstration then." "Igris," he said quietly, "come." The air behind Naruto split open, pure darkness pouring through the tear like liquid night. It coalesced rapidly, forming into a shape. A knight in black armor trimmed with crimson, wielding a longsword that seemed to drink in the morning light. The Shadow Marshal stood 7 feet tall, his presence radiating disciplined lethality. Kakashi's book snapped shut. His visible eye went wide. "What?" Igris moved. The Shadow Knight crossed 15 feet in a single step, his blade already in motion. Kakashi barely got his kunai up in time, the clash of metal on metal ringing across the training ground. Igris pressed the attack immediately, sword work fluid and precise, each strike calculated to test defenses and create openings. Kakashi backflipped, gaining distance, hands flashing through seals. Water style, water dragon jutsu. A massive serpent of water erupted from the nearby stream, jaws wide to consume the Shadow Knight. Igris didn't dodge. He charged through it, blade extended, splitting the construct down the middle. Water crashed to either side, harmless. The Jonin's eye narrowed. He drew a kunai in each hand, engaging Igris in close combat. The bell test was forgotten. This was a real fight now, deadly serious. Blade met blade, metal ringing in rapid staccato. Igris fought like a master swordsman from an ancient era, his style unfamiliar but devastatingly effective. He used economical movements, never wasting energy, always maintaining perfect balance. When Kakashi tried to use superior speed to flank him, Igris simply rotated, sword tracking the Jonin's movement with eerie precision. "You're good," Kakashi admitted, breathing slightly harder. "But you're not him," he blurred, using the body flicker to appear behind Igris. Kunai aimed at the gap in the Shadow's armor. The blade sank in and passed through harmlessly, as if striking smoke. Igris's sword came around in a reverse grip, nearly taking Kakashi's head off. The Jonin dropped flat, rolled, came up 30 feet away. "He's made of shadows," Kakashi breathed. "He can't be hurt by normal means." "Correct," Naruto said. He still hadn't moved from his starting position. "Igris is one of my best. You won't beat him without serious technique." "One of your best? How many do you have?" "Enough." Kakashi stared at him, visible eyes searching for something. Explanation, weakness, humanity. "What are you, Naruto?" "A king, but you can call me your student if that makes you feel better." The Jonin's hand moved to his headband, fingers hooking under the edge. Naruto recognized the motion. The Sharingan then. Kakashi's trump card, the copied eye that had made him famous. "Don't bother," Naruto said. He raised one hand, gesturing casually. "Igris, stop. I'll handle this part." The Shadow Knight halted mid-step, sword lowering. He melted back into darkness, disappearing into Naruto's shadow as if he'd never existed. Naruto walked forward 3 steps, then stopped. He reached out with one hand, making a grasping motion. Ruler's authority. Invisible telekinetic force seized both bells, ripping them from Kakashi's belt. They flew through the air, landing in Naruto's palm with soft jingles. He examined them briefly, then tossed one in a gentle arc toward the tree line. Sasuke, catch. The Uchiha emerged from hiding, catching the bell reflexively. He stared at it, then at Naruto, expression caught between shock and fury. What? How did you? The exercise is about teamwork, that's Naruto said, cutting him off. There are 2 bells for 3 people, which means someone fails unless the team cooperates. But the real test is whether we understand that our teammates matter more than individual success. He looked at Kakashi. Am I close? The Jonin stared at him for a long moment. Then slowly he nodded. You pass, all 3 of you. I didn't get a bell, Sakura protested, stepping out from her own hiding spot. The bell isn't the point, Kakashi said quietly, still watching Naruto. Naruto figured out the real objective and chose to share success with his teammate instead of hoarding it. That's what makes a good shinobi. Those who break the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. He'd repeated the phrase by rote, but his mind was clearly elsewhere. The Shadow Knight, the telekinetic grab, the casual competence from a 12-year-old fresh from the academy. None of it made sense. Meet here tomorrow at 7 a.m. for your first real mission, Kakashi said. Team 7 is now officially active. Dismissed. Sasuke left immediately, bell still clutched in his fist, expression dark. Sakura chased after him. Naruto started to follow, but Kakashi's voice stopped him. Naruto, a word. The boy turned, face carefully neutral. Sensei? What you showed me today, that's not something you learned at the academy. No, the Hokage needs to know about this. About your abilities. Naruto considered that. Jin-Woo had dealt with politicians and power structures before. Sometimes cooperation was wise, sometimes secrecy was better. In this case, Konoha already had reasons to monitor him, the Kyuubi, his status as a Jinchuriki, even if he didn't know the details yet. Better to give them something to focus on than let them imagine worse. Tell him, Naruto said. It won't change anything. What does that mean? It means I'm going to protect this village whether they accept me or not, whether they fear me or not, whether they understand me or not. He met Kakashi's eyes steadily. I'm a king, Sensei. Kings protect their people. That's what we do. He walked away, leaving Kakashi alone in the training ground with more questions than answers. The Hokage's office was exactly as Naruto remembered from his few visits. Large desk, walls lined with files, window overlooking the village. Hiruzen Sarutobi sat behind the desk, elderly but still radiating quiet authority. Kakashi stood to one side, having delivered his report minutes earlier. Naruto, the Hokage said gently. Kakashi tells me you've awakened some kind of unique ability. Yes, Hokage-sama. Can you explain it? Naruto thought about how to condense 2 lifetimes of experience into something comprehensible. I can create and command soldiers made from shadow. They're called my shadow army. I can also use other abilities, telekinesis, enhanced physical stats, certain combat techniques. It all came to me recently, like remembering something I'd forgotten. How many soldiers can you create? Currently, about 200. It will grow. Hiruzen's eyes widened fractionally. 200 soldiers under the command of a 12-year-old. If they were even half as powerful as the knight Kakashi described, are they sentient? Some are. The stronger ones have personality, memory, loyalty. The weaker ones are more like puppets. Can they be destroyed? Only temporarily. I can resummon them from shadow as long as I have enough power. He almost said mana, caught himself. The Hokage leaned back, then on studying the boy through old eyes that had seen much. You understand that this makes you incredibly valuable to the village. And incredibly dangerous, Naruto added. I understand politics, Hokage-sama. You're wondering if I can be controlled, if I'm a threat, if my power will corrupt me or drive me mad. Hiruzen didn't deny it. I'm not a threat to Konoha, Naruto said simply. This is my home. These are my people. Whether they know it or not, I'll defend them. And if the village tries to use you as a weapon, then they'll find I'm not a very good tool. I choose my battles, Hokage-sama. I choose who I protect. Try to force me, and... He shrugged. I'll still protect the village. I'll just ignore the orders while doing it. Despite the situation's seriousness, Hiruzen almost smiled. The boy had Jinwoo's memories, if not his exact personality. Confident, impossible to intimidate, and utterly certain of his own path. Very well. I won't restrict you yet. But Naruto, understand. If your power grows as you say it will, eventually the village will need to know its limits. We need to understand what we're working with. I'm working on that myself, sir. When I understand my own limits, I'll let you know. It was a non-answer, polite but firm. Hiruzen recognized a negotiation stalemate when he saw one. The boy would cooperate to a point, but no further. Pushing would only create conflict. You're dismissed. Kakashi, stay for a moment. Naruto left. The moment the door closed, Hiruzen's expression turned grave. Your assessment? He's not lying about wanting to protect the village, Kakashi said slowly. But Hokage-sama, that Shadow Knight moved at Jonin level, fought at Jonin level. If he has 200 of those, he'd be the equivalent of a small army unto himself. I know. Hiruzen lit his pipe, taking a long draw. Monitor him carefully, report anything unusual. But don't antagonize him. If what he says is true and this power is still growing, we need him as an ally, not an enemy. And if he becomes unstable, then we'll handle it. But until then, Kakashi, treat him as what he is, a young shinobi with incredible potential. Train him, guide him, make sure that power is pointed at our enemies, not our people. Kakashi nodded and left. Alone in his office, Hiruzen stared out at the village he'd sworn to protect. Somewhere out there, a 12-year-old boy commanded an army of shadows and spoke with the confidence of a king. The third Hokage had seen many things in his long life. This was new. Team 7's first month consisted of D-rank missions. Lost cats, fence painting, weeding gardens, babysitting, menial work designed to teach patience and teamwork. Sasuke endured it with barely concealed frustration. Sakura complained constantly. Naruto seemed to view it as a tedious formality, completing his assigned tasks with efficient boredom while reading books on chakra theory. Kakashi noticed the boy's shadows sometimes did the work, while Naruto himself sat in a tree, reading. A shadow clone variant, perhaps? But they felt different, colder, more substantial, and they didn't dispel when struck hard enough. They simply reformed, useful for manual labor, disturbing for combat implications. Their first C rank came exactly 32 days after team formation. Kakashi announced it with his usual lazy tone, but Naruto caught the shift. The Jonin was paying more attention now, watching to see how they handled real danger. We're escorting a bridge builder back to the land of waves, Kakashi explained. It's a C rank, so we might encounter bandits. Stay alert, follow orders, don't engage unless necessary. The client arrived an hour later, reeking of cheap sake and bad decisions. Tazuna, the bridge builder, old and weathered, looked Team 7 over with obvious disappointment. Kids? They're sending kids to protect me? We're perfectly capable, Sakura said defensively. Tazuna snorted. Sure you are, princess. Just try not to die on my account. Naruto studied the man through narrowed eyes. The system had given him enhanced perception, and he could read people better now. Tazuna was scared, yes, but also lying. This wasn't a C rank. The old man knew more than he was saying. Interesting. Actual danger then. Finally. They left Konoha at noon, traveling at civilian pace to accommodate Tazuna. The journey would take 3 days on foot. Naruto used the time to scout ahead with shadow soldiers, keeping them low-level and humanoid so they'd pass for clones at casual inspection. Nothing threatening appeared the first day. The second day, Naruto's scout reported 2 signatures hiding in a puddle ahead. Obvious to anyone paying attention, it hadn't rained in a week. The ground was dry, and the puddle sat in the middle of the road like a neon sign reading, "Ambush here." Naruto said nothing, watching to see how Kakashi would handle it. The Jonin noticed, of course, but continued walking past without comment, testing his students then. Fair enough. The demon brothers erupted from the puddle exactly as expected, chains stretched between them. They wrapped it around Kakashi, pulled, and ripped the Jonin into shreds with the spiked links. Sakura screamed. Sasuke went tense, hand moving toward kunai. Naruto sighed. The demon brothers moved toward Tazuna next, chain reforming between them. Sasuke intercepted, kunai pinning the chain to a tree in a decent display of academy skill. But the brothers separated, attacking from 2 angles. Ruler's authority, Naruto said quietly. Both brothers slammed face first into the dirt, held down by invisible telekinetic force. They struggled, gasping, unable to rise against the pressure pinning them. Kakashi emerged from the tree line unharmed, having substituted with a log the moment the chain contacted him. Nice work, Naruto, though you could have warned your teammates. They need to learn to react. Experience teaches better than explanation. Sasuke shot him an irritated look, but said nothing. The Uchiha had pride, but he wasn't stupid enough to argue during combat. Kakashi tied up the brothers quickly, efficient with shinobi wire. These are Chunin-level missing nin from Kirigakure. Tazuna, you want to explain why your C-rank escort mission involves enemy ninja? The bridge builder deflated. I'm sorry, I lied. There's someone after me, a businessman named Gato who wants my bridge project stopped. I couldn't afford a proper mission ranking, so You falsified the mission parameters, putting Jinin in danger, Kakashi said flatly. We should turn back. Please, Tazuna dropped to his knees. The bridge is our only hope. Gato's bleeding our country dry. Without it, Wave Country will die. I have a grandson, a daughter. If I don't finish this bridge... Kakashi looked at his students. Team decision. We're already engaged, so I'll leave it to you. Continue with an elevated risk mission, or return to Konoha and report the deception? Sakura opened her mouth to argue for returning, saw Sasuke's determined expression, and changed her vote. We continue. Agreed, Sasuke said. Naruto just nodded. He'd known the mission would escalate the moment he saw Tazuna. This was practically a scripted event. Might as well follow through and see what challenges appeared. Then we continue, Kakashi said. But Tazuna, when we get back, you're paying the difference in mission fees. They traveled by boat the rest of the way, a small vessel that cut through mist-shrouded waters. The atmosphere was oppressive, thick fog reducing visibility to 12 feet. Naruto's scouts couldn't see through it either. Natural mist, not jutsu-based, which meant his enhanced senses were equally blinded. Then the mist thickened further, and Naruto recognized the chakra signature woven through it. Jutsu, after all. Hidden mist technique. Get down, Kakashi shouted. A massive sword scythed through the space where their heads had been, embedding itself in the boat's mast with a meaty thunk. The blade was huge, nearly as tall as a man and wide as a door. A figure appeared on the sword's handle, a man wrapped in bandages, his lower face covered, eyes cold and calculating. Well, the copy ninja Kakashi. This might actually be interesting. Zabuza Momochi, Kakashi said quietly, sharing an eye already uncovered. Kirigakure's demon. This is well above C-rank students. Defensive formation around Tazuna. Do not engage. Zabuza laughed. Smart. Those Jinin wouldn't last 10 seconds against me. Probably true, Naruto said. He stepped forward out of the protective formation. But I'm not a Jinin. Not really. Naruto, get back, Kakashi snapped. It's fine, sensei. This is what I do. He looked up at Zabuza calmly. You picked the wrong mission. I was getting bored anyway. Bold words, brat. Zabuza's killing intent spiked, a palpable wave of pressure designed to freeze opponents with fear. It was impressive, Jonin level, honed through countless murders. It washed over Naruto like water over stone. My turn, Naruto said quietly. He raised one hand, fingers splayed towards Zabuza. Ruler's authority. Telekinetic force erupted with enough power to blow the mist away in a 30-foot radius. Zabuza was ripped from his perch on the sword, lifted 20 feet into the air, and slammed down into the water hard enough to create a 10-foot splash. He surfaced, coughing, eyes wide with shock. What the? Naruto made a grasping motion. The telekinetic grip tightened, dragging Zabuza through the water toward the boat like a hooked fish. The missing nin struggled, trying to perform hand seals, but the pressure restricted his movement. Beru, Naruto said, come. The water beside the boat exploded. A figure rose from the depths, massive, insectoid, covered in gleaming black chitin. Beru the Ant King stood 12 feet tall, his forearms each ending in scythe-like claws, his mandibles clicking as he regarded Zabuza with faceted compound eyes. My liege! Beru's voice was somehow loud and reverberating despite emerging from an insect throat. How dare this insect raise a blade against you? I shall devour his bones and... Just subdue him, Naruto interrupted. We need information. As you command! Beru moved with shocking speed for something his size. One moment he was standing in the water, the next he was on Zabuza, all 4 claws restraining the Jonin's limbs. The missing nine's eyes went wide behind his bandages. What are you? I am Beru, the Ant King, loyal servant of the Shadow Monarch, Beru announced proudly. And you are an ant that threatened my king. Be grateful he is merciful. Zabuza tried to substitute, tried to escape, but Beru's grip was unbreakable. The Shadow Marshal's strength exceeded anything the Jonin had encountered. Then Senbon needles sprouted from Zabuza's neck. His eyes rolled back, body going limp. Beru looked up sharply, tracking the attack's source. A figure stood on the water's surface, slim, wearing a hunter nin mask, mist swirling around them. They made a polite bow. I apologize for the interruption. I'm a tracker ninja from Kirigakure, assigned to hunt down Zabuza Momochi. Thank you for subduing him. I'll take custody of the body now. Kakashi frowned. You're awfully convenient. I've been tracking Zabuza for weeks. Your battle led me here. The Hunter 9 gestured. Please release him. I need to return him to our village for judgment. Naruto studied the newcomer with enhanced perception. Female, despite the voice modulation. Young, maybe 14. Chakra signature was suppressed but present, ice element, bloodline trait. And her body language when looking at Zabuza showed concern, not triumph. He's not dead, Naruto said flatly. The Hunter nin stiffened. Of course he is. The Senbon hit his vital points. Temporary death state, Naruto interrupted. The needles induced false death, low pulse and breathing to mimic a corpse. You're his accomplice, not his hunter. The question is whether I care enough to stop you. Silence. Even the water seemed to still. The Hunter nin's hand moved toward a weapon. Beru's mandibles opened, releasing a screech that shattered what remained of the mist and sent waves rippling across the water for 100 yards. The Hunter nin stumbled back, hands over ears. Don't, Naruto said quietly. I already have one powerful shadow. I don't need to kill you both to make another. But if you attack, I will. The Hunter nin hesitated, clearly weighing options. Then she grabbed Zabuza's body and fled across the water, moving with impressive speed. Beru tensed to pursue. Let them go, Naruto ordered. We'll see them again. They have unfinished business with Tazuna. Beru relaxed reluctantly. As you wish, my liege. Though I could have crushed him easily. I know, but we're supposed to be protecting the bridge builder, not hunting missing nin. Focus. Kakashi stared at him, sharing an eye still active, clearly trying to process what he just witnessed. Naruto, that thing Beru, he's one of my stronger soldiers, yes. Don't worry, sensei. He only eats enemies. I do not eat, Beru protested. I am made of shadow. I simply destroy with enthusiasm. Right, that's so much better, Kakashi muttered. They reached shore without further incident. Tazuna's house was modest, clean, occupied by his daughter Tsunami and grandson Inari. The boy was maybe 5, with sad eyes and a broken spirit that reminded Naruto painfully of his own early years. Dinner was quiet. Team 7 was exhausted from the day's events. Naruto spent the meal observing, noting the family's dynamics, the fear underlying their hospitality, the way Inari stared at his grandfather with mixed hope and resentment. Why do you bother? Inari asked suddenly, looking at the genin. Gado's too strong. You'll all just die like everyone else who tried to help. We won't die, Sasuke said confidently. That's what Kaiser said too. He was the strongest man in the village, and Gado killed him anyway. Nobody can beat Gado. Naruto set down his chopsticks. Kid, the difference between heroes and victims isn't strength, it's choice. Your Kaiser chose to fight despite the odds. We're choosing the same. Maybe we'll die, maybe we won't, but at least we're making the choice instead of lying down. Inari's eyes widened, then filled with tears. He ran from the table. Tsunami followed after him with an apologetic look. That was harsh, Sakura said. It was honest. Coddling him won't help. Later that night, Naruto sat on the roof, staring at stars that were different from Jinwoo's Korea, but somehow still familiar. The system window floated in his vision, showing his stats. Class Stadamonk, the weakest hunter, the Monarch of Shadows, HP 18750, Strength 193, Perception, Intelligence 164, Available stat points, Active Shadows, level 47 at age 12. Not bad, not nearly enough to match his previous peak, but growing steadily. Each dungeon cleared, each monster defeated, each quest completed pushed him higher. Can't sleep, Kakashi's voice. Naruto didn't turn. I don't need much. Perks of the power. The Jonin sat beside him, careful to maintain distance. You knew that Hunter Nin was lying. How? Experience. I've dealt with liars before. She cared too much about Zabuza, moved too efficiently for a random encounter. Plus, the Senbon placement was designed to preserve life, not end it. They'll attack the bridge. Obviously, that's where we'll fight them for real. Naruto glanced at him. You knew all this too, Sensei. You're testing us, seeing how we react to real danger. Guilty, Kakashi produced his book, flipping it open. You're remarkably calm about potential death. I've died before. The admission hung in the air. Kakashi lowered his book, studying the boy's profile. Not literally, just felt it, understood it. Death isn't scary, Sensei. It's just transition. What matters is what you do before you get there. That's a very old perspective for a 12-year-old. I'm older than I look. No elaboration. Kakashi accepted it, returning to his book. They sat in companionable silence, shinobi and monarch, teacher and student, both carrying secrets heavier than anyone suspected. The bridge battle came 3 days later. Zabuza and his accomplice, who introduced herself as Haku, attacked during morning construction. The mist rolled in thick and impenetrable, visibility reduced to nothing. Hidden mist jutsu, Kakashi said, sharing on already active. Same as before. Stay close to Tazuna. Watch your backs. Zabuza's voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. You got lucky last time, brat. That monster you summoned isn't here to save you now. Want to bet? Now Haku appeared in front of Sasuke, moving with impossible speed. I'll handle this one, she said, making hand seals. Secret jutsu, demonic ice mirrors. 21 mirrors of perfect ice materialized in a dome around Sasuke, each reflecting Haku's form. She stepped into one, multiplying across all surfaces. Now you're trapped, she said regretfully. I don't want to kill you, but I will if you threaten Zabuza-san. Sasuke gritted his teeth, trying to track her movements as she bounced between mirrors, launching Senbon from impossible angles. He blocked some, dodged others, but he was outmatched. Blood trickled from a dozen small wounds. Naruto watched for 3 seconds, confirming Sasuke couldn't break out alone. Then he sighed. Tusk, handle it. The ground beside the ice dome cracked. A figure rose, tall, green-skinned, tusked, wearing tattered armor and carrying a massive staff carved with runic symbols. Tusk, the high orc shaman, one of Naruto's elite shadows. Tusk, hear king, the orc rumbled. Tusk, obey. Hymn of the fire dragon, Naruto ordered. Full power. Tusk's eyes glowed red. He slammed his staff into the bridge deck. An ancient power surged. Flames erupted around him in a spiral, growing, intensifying, coalescing into the shape of a massive dragon made of pure fire. The construct roared, heat shimmering the air. Burn, Tusk commanded. The fire dragon launched itself at the ice dome. Haku's eyes widened behind her mask. She tried to reinforce the mirrors, but fire versus ice was a losing battle. The mirrors melted, flash evaporated into steam, the dome collapsing in seconds. Sasuke stumbled out, singed but alive. Haku appeared on the bridge deck, breathing hard, her technique shattered. Impossible, she whispered. That much heat. What are you? Someone you shouldn't have trapped my teammate in front of, Naruto said. He gestured, and Tusk's fire dragon dissipated into harmless smoke. Stand down. You're loyal to Zabuza, I get that. But this doesn't have to end with your death. Haku's hands moved toward new seals. I can't abandon him. Then convince him to abandon Gato. Naruto's voice hardened. I've read the reports, Haku. Gato is a parasite, a businessman with delusions of power. Zabuza is a warrior. Why is a warrior serving trash? The question hit harder than expected. Haku's hands stilled, uncertainty crossing her features. That's enough talking. Zabuza's voice. The missing 9 appeared from the mist, massive sword raised. You want to lecture me? Brat, try surviving first. He swung the executioner blade with enough force to split stone. Naruto didn't move. He simply raised one hand. Bloodlust. The aura hit like a physical force. Zabuza's swing faltered mid-arc, his body locking up involuntarily. Images flooded his mind, his own death, repeated 1,000 ways. Drowned, stabbed, crushed, burned, torn apart, each vision crystal clear and utterly convincing. His subconscious screamed at him to flee, to hide, that he was prey before something apex. The sword dropped from nerveless fingers. Naruto caught it with ruler's authority, the massive blade floating in midair. You've killed a lot of people, Zabuza. You understand death, so you know I'm not bluffing when I say I could end you right now. Zabuza fell to one knee, gasping, fighting the primal terror Naruto's skill induced. What the hell? My bloodlust. It shows people their death. All possible versions. Your mind can't handle it, so your body freezes. Naruto's blue eyes glowed faintly. But here's the thing. I don't want to kill you. You're strong, you're loyal to someone you care about, and you're wasted serving a coward like Gato. I need his money, Zabuza gasped. Building an army to take back Kirigakure. Then work for me instead. Silence. Even the mist seemed to still. Naruto dismissed the bloodlust and Zabuza could breathe again. The Jonin looked up at the child who just offered him employment. You're insane. Possibly. But I pay better than Gato. I don't betray my subordinates, and I'm going to kill him anyway for attacking my client. So you can die here defending a man who'd sell you out the moment it was convenient, or you can switch sides and actually accomplish something. Haku appeared beside Zabuza, helping him stand. Zabuza-san, maybe we should listen. Shut up, Haku. But there was no heat in it. Zabuza stared at Naruto, calculating. What's your game, kid? Why would you hire a missing nin? Because I judge people by their actions, not their titles. You raised Haku from nothing, gave her purpose, protected her. That shows character. Gato robs countries and murders anyone who resists. Who's really the villain here? Zabuza laughed bitterly. You're either the stupidest genin I've ever met or the smartest. I can't decide which. Neither. I'm a king. We think differently. Before Zabuza could respond, new sounds echoed across the bridge. Footsteps. Hundreds of them. An army of thugs emerged from the mist, armed with clubs, swords, and crossbows. At their head walked a short man in an expensive suit, flanked by bodyguards. Gato, the parasite himself. Zabuza, he called cheerfully. Sorry to interrupt your dramatic fight, but I'm done waiting. Kill the bridge builder, kill the ninja, and maybe I'll pay you half of what I promised. Half? Zabuza's voice went flat and dangerous. You failed me multiple times. Consider it a penalty fee. Now hurry up before I dock you further. The missing nin's killing intent spiked, but this time it was directed at Gato. You're breaking the contract. So sue me. Oh wait, you're a criminal. You can't. Gato laughed, his thugs joining in. Just shut up and do your job, demon, or I'll have my men kill your little ice princess here. Crossbows aimed at Haku. Naruto sighed. This man is exhausting. Tusk, you can go. Everyone else. He raised both hands. Arise. The bridge's shadow lengthened impossibly. Darkness poured out like ink, spreading across the entire structure. From it rose soldiers, hundreds of them, armed with swords and spears and shields, their armor black as midnight, their eyes glowing blue. The shadow infantry formed ranks with practiced efficiency, standing between Team 7 and Gato's thugs. The numbers weren't even close, maybe 200 shadows versus Gato's 500 men. But the shadows radiated menace that numbers couldn't match. Gato's laughter died. What is this? My army, Naruto said simply. You wanted to threaten people under my protection. Bad choice. He made a forward gesture. The shadow soldiers advanced in perfect formation, shields raised, weapons ready. Gato's thugs held for maybe 5 seconds before their nerve broke. They ran, screaming, dropping weapons in their panic to escape. Gato tried to flee too. He made it 3 steps before Naruto appeared in front of him using shadow exchange, teleporting through his soldiers' shadows. Not so fast. You hired Zabuza to kill an innocent man. You terrorized an entire country. You tried to murder my client. Naruto's eyes were cold. That makes you my enemy. Wait, I can pay you. Whatever you want. I'm rich. I have connections. Gato's expensive suit darkened at the crotch. Naruto looked past him to where Zabuza and Haku stood watching. Your call. He's your employer. Want to finish the contract or finish him? Zabuza hefted his recovered sword. Haku, look away. The blade fell. Gato didn't get a chance to scream. Kakashi hadn't intervened during any of it, just watched with his Sharingan, cataloging every detail to report later. His Genin team had just participated in the execution of a businessman, legally gray at best, but he found he didn't particularly care. Gato had been scum. The world was better without him. So, Zabuza said, cleaning his blade, about that job offer. Help us finish this mission, Naruto said. Make sure the bridge gets completed safely. After that, we'll talk terms. I can't officially hire a missing 9 while I'm a Konoha shinobi, but I can offer you freelance work when opportunities arise. Better than starving between assassination contracts. Why do I get the feeling you're going to drag me into insane situations? Because I will. But you'll survive them, you'll get paid, and you might actually enjoy yourself. Zabuza looked at Haku, who nodded slightly. He sighed. Fine, 1 mission trial, but if you try to screw me over, you'll try to kill me and fail spectacularly, Naruto interrupted. I know, threats are boring. Let's just work together and see what happens. The bridge was completed without further incident. Zabuza and Haku stayed to help, their combined expertise and intimidation factor discouraging any remaining Gato loyalists. The country celebrated, declaring it the Great Naruto Bridge in honor of their unlikely savior. Naruto tried to argue for a different name. Tazuna refused. The plaque was already made. As Team 7 prepared to leave, Inari ran up to Naruto, eyes bright with determination instead of despair. "I'm going to be strong like you," the boy declared. "I'm going to protect people." Naruto knelt to his level. "Good, but remember, strength isn't just power. It's choosing to use that power for others, even when it's hard. Your Kaiser understood that. Honor his memory by living the same way." Inari nodded seriously, fist clenched. The journey back to Konoha was quieter. Kakashi spent most of it reading, occasionally glancing at Naruto with unreadable expression. Sasuke was withdrawn, clearly bothered by how completely outclassed he'd been. Sakura kept trying to start conversation, then giving up when no one responded. Naruto spent the walk thinking about his army. 200 soldiers now, after adding the fallen from Gato's thugs. Still nowhere near his peak of 10 million, but growing. Each battle added more potential shadows. Each victory made him stronger. The grind continued. Konoha's atmosphere shifted after the wave mission. Team 7 submitted their report, including Kakashi's detailed account of Naruto's abilities. The council demanded a demonstration. Hiruzen agreed, but only a limited one. They gathered in a secure training ground, council members behind a barrier, ambush stationed at intervals. Naruto stood in the center, hands in pockets, expression bored. "Show us this army," Danzo demanded. The Warhawk councilman leaned forward, one eye gleaming with interest. "If you truly command as many as you, all of them would destroy this training ground," Naruto said. "I'll summon 20. That's enough for assessment." "Acceptable," Hiruzen said. Naruto raised one hand. "Arise." 20 shadow soldiers materialized in formation, infantry type, armed with basic weapons, standing at attention. They were identical except for minor variations in equipment, each radiating the same cold presence. "Attack the practice dummies," Naruto ordered. The soldiers moved as one. They cleared the field of training equipment in under 10 seconds, destroying wooden targets with efficient strikes. No wasted movement, no hesitation, perfect coordination. Dismiss. They vanished back into shadow. Murmurs ran through the council. Danzo's eye narrowed. "You can create soldiers from nothing. Can you create them from fallen enemies?" "Yes." "Show us." "No." Silence. Danzo's face darkened. "That was not a request." "I don't care," Naruto interrupted. "I'm not your weapon, councilman. I'm a Konoha shinobi who happens to have useful abilities. I've demonstrated what I can do. That's enough." "Hokage-sama?" "Naruto is correct," Hiruzen said mildly. "He's shown us the basics of his ability. Further testing can wait until it's mission relevant." Council dismissed. They filed out reluctantly. Danzo was last, pausing to stare at Naruto with calculation that made most genin uncomfortable. Naruto stared back with complete indifference. The old Warhawk left. "Thank you," Naruto said to Hiruzen once they were alone. "Don't thank me yet. Danzo will push for control. He sees you as an asset to be utilized." "He can try. I've dealt with politicians before." Naruto's eyes glowed faintly. "They learn quickly that I'm not controllable, or they stop being politicians." Hiruzen hoped that was metaphorical. The Chunin exams announcement came 2 months later. Teams that had been genin for at least 6 months were eligible. Kakashi nominated Team 7 without hesitation. "You're ready," he said simply. "Or at least Naruto is. The other two will benefit from the experience." Sasuke's jaw tightened. Sakura looked terrified. Naruto just shrugged. The first exam was a written test designed to test information gathering and decision-making under pressure. The proctor, Ibiki Morino, explained the rules with sadistic pleasure. Lose all points through wrong answers or cheating, and your team fails. Refuse the final question, and you fail but can retake the exam. Accept an answer wrong, and you're barred from ever becoming Chunin. Naruto found it clever. The real test wasn't the questions. It was whether you'd risk everything for your goal. He used his shadow scouts, tiny humanoid shapes no bigger than insects, to check other examinees' papers and relay answers. The shared sensory connection made it trivial. He finished the test in 10 minutes, then spent the remaining time observing. Sasuke copied answers with his Sharingan. Sakura actually knew most of them, being the class intellectual. Other teams used mirrors, insects, sand, various creative methods. The final question arrived. Half the room quit immediately. The remainder, including Team 7, stayed. "You pass," Ibiki announced. The final question's real test was courage. A chunin who won't risk everything for the mission is worthless. Those who stayed demonstrated the necessary resolve. Naruto had known that. The test structure was obvious once you thought about it, but he appreciated the psychology, weeding out those without nerve before they reached actual combat. The second exam proctor arrived via window, shattering glass dramatically. Anko Mitarashi, special jonin, grinned maniacally at the remaining examinees. "Congratulations on passing the baby test. Now comes the fun part. The Forest of Death." She explained the rules with barely contained glee. 5 days, survival training, collect both scrolls, heaven and earth, reach the tower at the center. Teams could fight, steal, kill each other freely. Medical staff would be on standby. "Try not to die too quickly," Anko said. "It's boring when they drop fast." Team 7 received their Earth Scroll and entered from Gate 12. The forest was massive, filled with dangerous wildlife and deadlier ninjas. Sasuke wanted to set traps. Sakura wanted to hide and wait for opportunities. Naruto wanted to get this over with. "We need a Heaven Scroll," he said. "I'll scout ahead, find a team that has one, and we'll take it." "Just like that?" Sasuke demanded. "You're going to scout an entire forest?" "Yes." He sent shadow scouts in all directions, small humanoid shapes that could slip through trees and undergrowth unnoticed. Within 30 minutes, he located 6 teams, identified their scroll types, and picked a target. 3 Rain Genin, overconfident, Heaven Scroll in the tallest one's pouch. "Southeast, 2 kilometers, Naruto reported. 3 Rain Genin, we can take them." "How do you know?" "I know. Come on." They reached the Rain team just as said team was setting up camp. Naruto didn't bother with stealth. He walked into their clearing, hands in pockets. "We need your scroll. Hand it over." The Rain Genin laughed. "Cocky leaf brat, we'll enjoy." Naruto activated Bloodlust at minimal power, just a taste. The 3 Rain Nin collapsed, gasping, eyes wide with primal terror. One vomited. I said, "Give me your scroll." The tallest one threw it with shaking hands. Naruto caught it, verified it was heaven, and nodded. "Thanks. Try not to die out here." Team 7 left them trembling on the ground. "That was efficient," Sakura said faintly. "Efficiency is important. Why waste time fighting when intimidation works just as well?" They headed for the tower, planning to arrive early and rest. They'd made it maybe half a kilometer when Naruto's scouts detected something else, something big, something wrong. The killing intent hit like a tsunami. Trees withered. Small animals fled. The very air became heavy with malice that transcended normal ninja technique. "Run!" Kakashi's voice, distant, screaming through his radio. "Team 7, if you encounter a pale man with yellow eyes, run! Do not engage!" Too late, the pale man appeared in front of them, stepping from behind a tree as if he'd always been there. Long black hair, yellow serpentine eyes, tongue flickering out to taste the air. His very presence radiated wrongness. "Well, well," Orochimaru purred. "What interesting specimens, especially you, little Uchiha. And you." His eyes fixed on Naruto. "What are you? You smell like death and power and something other." Sasuke's Sharingan activated automatically, 3 Tomoe spinning. He froze, recognizing the threat level instinctively. Sakura couldn't move at all, paralyzed by the killing intent. Naruto sighed. "Orochimaru of the Sannin, former Konoha shinobi, current S-rank missing nin wanted for human experimentation. Your reputation precedes you. Flattering. And you are?" "Annoyed. I was trying to finish this exam quickly." Naruto's eyes glowed blue. "But if you want to fight, I'll accommodate." Orochimaru's smile widened. "Such confidence. Let's test it." He bit his thumb, flashed through hand seals faster than Genin eyes could follow. Summoning Jutsu. Massive chakra smoke erupted. When it cleared, a snake the size of a building loomed over them. Manda, boss summon of the Serpent Contract, hissed down at the Genin with eyes like dinner plates. "Orochimaru," the snake rumbled, "you dare summon me for children? Humor me, Manda. I want to see something." The giant snake's jaws opened, preparing to swallow Team 7 whole. Naruto looked up at it with complete calm. I have something for this. Kaizo, come." Reality tore. A rift of pure darkness opened the air above Naruto, and from it emerged a dragon. Not a small one, not a medium one. Kaizo, the shadow dragon, over 100 feet of obsidian scales and midnight wings, roared a challenge that shook the entire forest. Manda's advance stopped. The giant snake actually recoiled. "What is that?" Manda demanded. "My dragon," Naruto said simply. "Kaizo, show this snake what real power looks like." The shadow dragon dove. Manda tried to dodge, but Kaizo was faster despite his size. Massive talons sank into serpent scales, lifting the summon off the ground. Manda thrashed, constricting around Kaizo's body, trying to crush the dragon. Shadow flesh didn't crush. Kaizo flew higher, carrying the struggling snake. Higher, higher, until they were specks against the clouds. Then he released. Manda fell, screaming. The impact shook the entire forest, creating a crater half a mile wide. The snake dispelled mid-crater, returning to its summoning realm to lick its wounds. Kaizo landed beside Naruto, folding wings that blotted out the sun. The dragon lowered his head in a bow. "Good work," Naruto said, patting scales the size of shields. "Stay close. This isn't over." Orochimaru stared at them, his confident smirk replaced by something between fascination and caution. "Incredible. That summoning. It's not from any contract I know. What are you, boy?" "Someone you should leave alone." "I think not." Orochimaru's body elongated unnaturally, becoming serpentine. "I must have you. Both you and the Uchiha will make perfect vessels for." Naruto activated Bloodlust at full power. The effect was immediate and devastating. Orochimaru's advance stopped like he'd hit a wall. His eyes went wide, pupils contracting to pinpricks. Every survival instinct in his heavily modified body screamed at him to flee. The visions came. Orochimaru saw his death. Not once, not a dozen times. Thousands of possible ends flooded his consciousness, crushed, burned, torn apart by shadows, devoured by dragons, aged to dust, impaled, drowned, strangled, each vision crystal clear and absolutely convincing. His body couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't think past the overwhelming certainty of doom. Naruto appeared in front of him, moving faster than the Sanin's overwhelmed senses could track. Vital Strike. The technique was simple: enhanced speed, precision targeting, overwhelming force focused on a single point. Jin-Woo had mastered it as part of his dagger arts. Naruto had relearned it quickly. His fist sank into Orochimaru's solar plexus. The Sanin flew backward like a kicked ball, crashing through 3 trees before hitting a 4th hard enough to crack the trunk. He slumped, coughing blood, his body struggling to regenerate from the internal damage. "Leave," Naruto said quietly, his voice carrying across the clearing. "This is your only warning. You're strong, Orochimaru, but I'm stronger. And unlike you, I don't need borrowed bodies or stolen techniques. I am what I am." Orochimaru forced himself to stand, body already healing, but mind still reeling. "We'll meet again, boy. I swear it." He sank into the ground using earth technique, fleeing. Smart. If he'd stayed, Naruto would have been forced to kill him, and that would create complications with Konoha politics, Kaizo growled. "Should I pursue my king?" "No." "Let him run. He'll think twice before bothering us again." The dragon dissolved into shadow, returning to Naruto's army. The forest was silent except for creaking trees and distant birds. Slowly, the normal sounds returned. Sasuke stared at Naruto with an expression caught between awe and something darker. "What are you?" "Your teammate. Come on, we have a tower to reach." Sakura found her voice finally. "That was, you just fought a Sannin and won." "I fought a Sannin and sent him running," Naruto corrected. "There's a difference. Winning would mean killing him. I'm not ready for that political mess." They reached the tower 3 hours later. Team 7 was the first to arrive, entering their scrolls in the examination room and receiving the next phase's instructions. They had 4 days to rest before the preliminaries. Naruto spent it grinding more dungeons, pushing his level higher. The system rewarded him with steady progression, level up. Level 51 achieved. New skill unlocked. Shall save. Mark a location to return to instantly. Useful for escaping or repositioning. He marked his apartment in Konoha immediately, creating a permanent exit point. The preliminaries came on the 5th day. All remaining teams gathered in a large arena underground. Hiruzen explained the new format: one-on-one matches, randomized, fight until defeat or surrender. Too many teams had passed for the finals to handle. The board randomized. First match, Naruto Uzumaki versus Kiba Inuzuka. Kiba grinned as they descended to the arena floor. Finally, I've wanted to test myself against you for a while, Naruto. Let's see if your weird shadow tricks work against Inuzuka's speed. Akamaru barked agreement from Kiba's head. Naruto sighed. This will be over quickly. Ha! Talk is cheap. Let's stealth. Naruto vanished. Not a substitution, not a clone, not even a blur of speed. He simply ceased to exist visually, his entire presence suppressed to nothing. The skill was one of Jin-Woo's favorites. Perfect invisibility combined with presence erasure. Kiba spun, trying to track by scent. Akamaru whined, confused. The smell was everywhere and nowhere, as if Naruto had multiplied and disappeared simultaneously. Naruto walked calmly behind Kiba, completely invisible, and tapped his shoulder. Kiba whirled. Nothing there. Another tap. Other shoulder. Kiba's confidence was cracking. Stop playing around. As you wish, Naruto said from directly behind him. Iron. The shadow giant materialized instantly. 15 feet of granite and steel, a golem shaped like a warrior, fists the size of hay bales. Iron stood directly behind Kiba, looming, waiting. Kiba turned around, looked up, up. His eyes met Iron's glowing gaze. Surrender, Naruto suggested, still invisible. Kiba fainted. Akamaru fled the arena whimpering. The proctor stared at the unconscious Genin, then at the empty space where Naruto had been, then at the massive golem that radiated menace. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki by intimidation? Naruto deactivated stealth, becoming visible again. Iron dissolved back into shadow. I could have hit him, but why waste the effort? The crowd was dead silent. Then someone started clapping. Slowly, others joined. Within seconds, the entire arena was applauding, though whether from appreciation or fear was unclear. Naruto ignored it, returning to the contestant box. Sasuke watched him with dark, intense eyes. Sakura looked torn between pride and concern. The matches continued. Sasuke fought Yoroi, a sound genin, and won using his superior speed and fire jutsu. Sakura lost to Ino in their rivalry match. Shikamaru beat a sound kunoichi through intelligence. Neji defeated Hinata brutally, nearly killing her before proctors intervened. Naruto watched that match with particular focus. Neji's philosophy, that fate was absolute, that people couldn't change their circumstances, that the weak should accept their place, graded against everything Jinwoo had proven, fate was a lie. Destiny was what you made it. The weakest hunter had become the strongest through sheer will and endless grinding. When the bracket for finals was announced, Naruto saw his opponent, Neji Hyuga, perfect. The month between preliminaries and finals passed quickly. Kakashi trained Sasuke in the Chidori, concerned about the curse mark Orochimaru had placed on the Uchiha during their encounter. Sakura trained with Ino's father in basic interrogation resistance. Naruto opened an instant dungeon and didn't emerge for weeks of subjective time. The dungeon's time dilation meant days inside equaled hours outside. He cleared floor after floor, grinding his level cap higher, expanding his shadow army. Level 62 achieved. New shadow unlocked. Tank. Tank was a defensive specialist, a shadow shaped like a massive warrior in full plate armor, carrying a shield the size of a door. Perfect for protecting allies or creating choke points. Naruto emerged from the dungeon one day before finals. His stats significantly improved, his army nearly at 500 soldiers. Still nowhere near his peak, but growing exponentially. The finals were held in a massive stadium, crowds packed into seats, nobility and foreign dignitaries in special boxes. The Kazekage sat beside Hiruzen, though Naruto's enhanced perception detected something wrong about the man. His chakra signature was off, masked, hidden behind layers of technique, potential threat. He marked it for later attention. The first match was Naruto versus Neji. They descended to the arena floor, referee between them. Neji activated his Bakugan immediately, veins bulging around his eyes as he analyzed Naruto's chakra system. His expression shifted to confusion. Your chakra network is wrong. It's vast but also empty in places, as if something else occupies the space where chakra should be. Accurate observation, Naruto acknowledged. You have good eyes. They're sufficient to see your fate. Neji settled into the gentle fist stance. You cannot defeat me. The Hyuga are masters of close combat, and my Byakugan sees all chakra points. I'll close yours and end this quickly. You talk too much about fate, Naruto said quietly. I've heard similar claims before. They're always wrong. We'll see, begin! Neji launched forward, palm strikes targeting Naruto's Tenketsu with surgical precision. 2 strikes, 4 strikes, 8 strikes. Each hit landed perfectly, Neji's gentle fist closing the targeted chakra points with practiced efficiency. 16 strikes, 32 strikes, 64 strikes, 8 trigrams, 64 palms. The technique completed, all major tenketsu sealed. Neji stepped back, confident. Your chakra is now sealed. You can't use jutsu, can't enhance your body, can't. Enemy attack insufficient to bypass that. The system notification appeared in Naruto's vision. He rolled his shoulders experimentally. Huh, that tickled a bit. Neji's confident expression cracked. Impossible. I sealed your tenketsu. You should be weakened? Unable to fight? Naruto shook his head. Neji, your techniques work on normal chakra systems. I'm not normal. My power doesn't flow through tenketsu. It's something else entirely. Then I'll simply strike harder. Neji attacked again, palms glowing with concentrated chakra. This time he aimed for vital organs, abandoning restraint. Every strike landed. None of them mattered. Naruto's defense stat was too high, his body reinforced by levels and Shadow Monarch physiology. The attacks couldn't penetrate. This is sad, Naruto said. He raised one hand. Let me show you the difference between us, Bellion. The arena went dark. Shadows erupted from every corner, flowing together into a central point. The crowd gasped as the darkness took form. A figure in obsidian armor, wielding a chain-whip sword, radiating authority that made jonin tense and civilians flee their seats. Bellion stood 12 feet tall, his Grand Marshal rank evident in every line of his form. He was Naruto's strongest shadow currently available, a commander who'd led armies in the previous world. My king calls. Bellion's voice echoed across the stadium. I answer. Neji stared up at the Shadow Marshal, Bakugan showing him the vast, impossible chakra, or whatever it was, that comprised the being. What is that? My Grand Marshal, one of my 3 strongest commanders. Naruto's voice was calm, matter of fact. You wanted to see fate, Neji? Here it is. Bellion moved. The chain whip sword extended, whistling through air. Neji tried to dodge, but he was too slow. The weapon didn't even touch him. The wind pressure alone from its passage lifted Neji off his feet and threw him out of the arena bounds. His body hitting the wall 30 feet away, hard enough to crack stone. The Hyuga prodigy slumped, unconscious before he hit the ground. Medical Ninja rushed forward. The crowd was silent, shocked into speechlessness. Even the ninja in attendance looked disturbed. Naruto turned toward the Kage box, meeting Hiruzen's eyes. I'm done playing ninja, Hokage-sama. Let them see who I really am. Hiruzen's expression was unreadable. Beside him, the false Kazekage leaned forward with interest. Bellion dissolved back into shadow. Naruto walked to the exit, ignoring the crowd's whispers, the fear in civilian eyes, the calculation in shinobi faces. He'd made his statement. Now the world knew Naruto Uzumaki was not normal, was not controllable, was not weak. He was something else entirely. The invasion came during the 3rd match. Sasuke was fighting Gaara, the Sand Genin with the barely contained demon, when the genjutsu fell over the stadium. Most civilians collapsed instantly. Shinobi fought off the sleep technique, but Sound and Sand Ninja were already moving, attacking Konoha forces. The false Kazekage revealed himself as Orochimaru, taking Hiruzen hostage inside a 4-corner barrier. Purple flames sealed them in, 4 Sound Ninja maintaining the technique from the corners. Naruto watched from the arena floor, assessing threats. The village was under attack. His village, his people. Finally, he said quietly, something interesting. He raised both hands. All forces, arise. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Every shadow in the stadium rose simultaneously. 10,000 soldiers materializing from darkness, from the shade of seats and walls and bodies. They poured out of the arena, flooding into the village streets. Shadow soldiers engaged Sound Ninja. Shadow Knights fought summons. Shadow mages cast spells that decimated organized formations. The entire tide of battle shifted in seconds. Naruto focused on the barrier. Orochimaru was trapped inside with Hiruzen, but the Sannin was preparing something. 2 coffins rising from the ground, sealed with tags bearing kanji for 1st and 2nd. Edo Tensei, Resurrection of the Dead. A forbidden technique that Orochimaru had clearly mastered. Naruto appeared at the barrier's edge using shadow exchange, teleporting through his soldiers' positions. The 4 Sound Ninja maintaining the barrier flinched. Let me through, he said calmly. The barrier is absolute, one shouted. Even if you break through, you'll just... Naruto punched the barrier with ruler's authority, backing his physical strike. The purple flame shattered like glass. The four sound ninja were flung backward by the technique's backlash, unconscious before they hit the ground. Naruto stepped through the now broken barrier. Inside, Hiruzen and Orochimaru froze, staring at him. The two coffins had fully risen. Their lids fell away. The first and second Hokage stepped out, their eyes blank and dead, bodies covered in cracks that leaked grave dirt. Edo Tensei zombies. Legendary ninja forced to serve, Orochimaru smiled despite Naruto's presence. Too late, boy. I have the founders of Konoha as my servants now. Even you cannot. Arise. Naruto extended his hands toward the resurrected Hokage. His power reached out, not to destroy them, but to claim them. The Edo Tensei was resurrection through sacrifice and binding. It gave the bodies form and bound souls to them. But Naruto's extraction worked on anything with a shadow, even the dead. The first and second Hokage's shadows detached from their bodies. The Edo Tensei forms crumbled, the technique breaking as the souls were freed and simultaneously claimed. Two new shadows rose from the remains, the founders of Konoha, now part of Naruto's army. They knelt before him. Recognizing their sovereign, Orochimaru's smile vanished. No, that's impossible! Edo Tensei can't be! Your technique resurrects the dead, Naruto interrupted. My power commands the dead. Your technique lost. He looked at the kneeling shadows. Guard the Hokage. Kill anyone who threatens him. The first and second stood, moving to flank Hiruzen protectively. The old man stared at them, at Naruto, completely at a loss for words. Orochimaru snarled, his composure finally breaking. You're not natural. You're an abomination. I'm a king, and you've attacked my kingdom. Naruto's eyes glowed bright blue. That was a mistake. He blurred forward, speed enhanced past anything Genin level. Orochimaru tried to counter with the Kusanagi sword, the blade extending from his mouth with serpentine flexibility. Naruto caught it with his bare hand, ruler's authority reinforcing his grip. Nice sword, he said, but I fought better. He yanked the blade, pulling Orochimaru off balance, and drove his fist into the Sanin's face with vital strike enhancing the impact. Orochimaru flew backward, hitting the barrier wall, except the barrier was gone now. So he flew through empty air and crashed into stadium seats. The Sanin struggled to rise, his face healing slowly. This isn't over, boy. I'll have your body yet. Three-headed snake summon erupted from beneath him, Orochimaru sinking into its mouth and fleeing via reverse summoning. Naruto let him go. Killing a Sanin in front of the entire village would create complications. Besides, Orochimaru had learned his lesson. Twice now, Naruto had humiliated him. The snake wouldn't try a third time. He turned to Hiruzen, who was staring at the Shadow Hokage flanking him with mixed awe and horror. They're on our side, Naruto said. They'll protect you until the invasion ends. After that, we can discuss everything. Naruto. Later, Hokage-sama, I have a village to defend. He shadow exchanged away, teleporting across the village through his army's positions. Everywhere he looked, shadows fought invaders. His soldiers were winning, overwhelming enemy forces through sheer numbers and coordination. A massive three-headed snake appeared near the village gates, threatening to break through. Naruto appeared on its middle head using shadow exchange. Beru, he called, you wanted a good fight, right? The Ant King erupted from Naruto's shadow, all four arms extended, mandibles wide. Finally, something worthy of destruction! Beru tore into the three-headed snake with savage glee, his claws shredding scales, his speed making the summon look slow. Within 30 seconds, all three heads were severed. The snake dispelled, returning to its summoning realm. Beru landed, clicking his mandibles in satisfaction. More! Bring me more enemies! Check the Eastern District. I'm detecting organized resistance there. As you command, my king! Beru launched himself across rooftops, a black blur of death seeking targets. Naruto coordinated his forces like a general commanding from headquarters. He had 10,000 shadows spread across the village. Not enough to cover everything, but enough to respond to major threats. Igris led forces in the commercial district. Tank protected the civilian shelters. Tusk's fire magic cleared enemy formations. The invasion was repelled within 2 hours. Sound and sand forces that didn't retreat were captured or killed. Konoha had won, though not without casualties, as sunset painted the sky orange and red. Naruto's shadows gathered at the village gates, all 10,000 of them, standing in perfect formation, waiting for their king. The entire village had assembled to see it, ninja and civilians alike, drawn by rumors and fear and curiosity. They stared at the army that had saved them, uncertain whether to feel grateful or terrified. Naruto walked through the village streets toward the gates, his shadows parting to create a path. He felt their eyes on him, judgment, fear, awe, calculation. He'd hidden his true nature for years. Now it was exposed, good. Hiding was exhausting anyway. He reached the gate, his army at his back. Hiruzen stood at the front of the village assembly, flanked by jonin and council members. The Hokage looked older than usual, worn by battle and revelation. Naruto Uzumaki, Hiruzen said formally, you've revealed abilities far beyond what we understood. You've saved the village, but in doing so, you've raised questions that must be answered. What are you? Naruto met his eyes steadily. The moment of truth. I am Naruto Uzumaki, the Shadow Monarch. In a previous life, I was someone else, a hunter who climbed from the lowest rank to the highest, who commanded millions of soldiers, who fought gods and monsters and survived. I died, I was reborn, and I awakened when this village's hatred nearly killed me. Silence. No one moved. No one breathed. I have protected this village in secret since then, Naruto continued. I've eliminated threats you never knew about, defended civilians who couldn't defend themselves, and grown my power to ensure I can keep protecting what matters. This village is my home. These people are mine to defend, whether they accept me or not. And your army? Danzo demanded from the crowd. You command the dead, resurrect the fallen, turn enemies into soldiers. That's necromancy. Evil. I command shadows, Naruto corrected. Death is just transition. The shadows choose to serve. I've never forced anyone. He gestured to his army. These soldiers are loyal because I earned their loyalty. I don't enslave. I offer purpose. How many can you command? Hiruzen asked quietly. Currently, 10,000. Eventually. Naruto's eyes glowed. There's no limit. I'll grow as strong as I need to be. Murmurs ran through the crowd. Fear, suspicion, but also hope. The village had been saved. Their lives were intact because of this boy and his impossible army. What do you want? Hiruzen asked. The real question, the political one. Nothing you're not already giving me. I want to be treated as a Konoha shinobi, assigned missions, allowed to grow stronger. I want my teammates to be safe. I want the village to prosper. He paused. And I want people to stop calling me a demon. I'm not the Kyuubi. I'm not a monster. I'm a king who chose this village as his kingdom. Kings don't serve villages, Danzo said. Kings rule them. I'm not that kind of king. Naruto looked across the assembled crowd, making eye contact with random civilians, with shinobi he'd seen around the village, with Hinata, who stood near the front looking at him with tears streaming down her face. I'm the kind who protects, who fights so others don't have to, who stands between my people and everything that wants to hurt them. That's what kings do. That's what I do. He raised one hand, gesturing to his army. All of you, return. 10,000 shadow soldiers dissolved simultaneously, flowing back into his shadow like water returning to the sea. Within seconds, only Naruto remained, standing alone at the gates. I'm still just a genin from Konoha, he said quietly. Still Naruto Uzumaki. The power is mine, but the person hasn't changed. I'm still the kid who wants ramen, who trains too hard, who cares about his teammates. I'm just more now. Hiruzen stepped forward, placing a hand on Naruto's shoulder. The old man's eyes were wet. I understand, he said simply. Thank you for protecting our village, Naruto. Thank you for being who you are. The crowd's mood shifted. Slowly, hesitantly, people began to clap. It started with the ninja who'd fought beside the shadows, spread to civilians who'd been protected, grew until the entire village was applauding. Not everyone. Some faces still showed fear or suspicion. But enough. It was enough. Naruto felt something in his chest loosen. A tension he hadn't known he was carrying. Acceptance. Not complete, not universal, but real. He'd spent 12 years as a pariah. 12 years alone. Now for the first time he felt like he might actually belong. The aftermath of the invasion kept everyone busy. Repairs, casualty counts, diplomatic responses to Sand Village's role, complicated by their Kazekage being murdered and impersonated. Naruto helped where he could, his shadows handling reconstruction efficiently. Sasuke approached him 3 days after the invasion, his expression dark and determined. I'm leaving, the Uchiha said without preamble. Where? To Orochimaru. He offered me power before he fled. I'm going to take it. Naruto studied him carefully. Because you're weak compared to me. I'm weak compared to everyone. Sasuke's Sharingan activated, 3 tomoes spinning with agitation. Itachi, you, even that Sand Genin with his demon. I'm not strong enough. I need more power if I'm going to kill your brother. I know. Naruto sighed. Sasuke, Orochimaru will use you. He doesn't give power freely. He wants your body as a vessel. I don't care. I'll use him first. Get strong enough to kill Itachi, then deal with Orochimaru. And if you can't, if he takes you over before you're ready, then I wasn't strong enough anyway. Sasuke's fists clenched. I have to try, Naruto. You don't understand what it's like to be weak, to have someone you have to surpass to. I understand better than you think, Naruto interrupted quietly. I've been weak. I've been the lowest of the low, barely surviving dungeons that could kill me in one hit. I climbed from nothing to this. He gestured to himself, not through shortcuts, through grinding, through endless effort and pain and near-death experiences. You want Orochimaru's power because it's fast, but fast power comes with strings attached. I don't have time to grind like you. Itachi could return any day. Then I'll help you get stronger the right way. I can open training spaces, create challenges, push you harder than any sensei could. You don't need Orochimaru. Sasuke stared at him, clearly torn. Why would you help me? We're rivals. We're teammates. And despite your attitude, I don't want to see you throw your life away for revenge. Naruto's expression softened slightly. Itachi is strong, Sasuke. Sannin level at minimum. You're not going to beat him by taking shortcuts. You need real power, earned power, the kind that doesn't come with a snake's strings attached. The Uchiha was quiet for a long moment. 1 month. Train me for 1 month. If I don't see results, I'm leaving anyway. Deal. They shook on it. The training was brutal. Naruto opened an instant dungeon set to B-rank difficulty and threw Sasuke in with basic equipment and healing items. The dungeon was filled with monsters slightly above Sasuke's level. Not impossible, but dangerous enough to force growth. Survive for 1 hour, Naruto said. Then we'll talk about actual training. Sasuke lasted 47 minutes before monsters overwhelmed him. Naruto pulled him out, healed him, and sent him back in. Again and again. By week 2, Sasuke could survive the full hour. By week 3, he was clearing sections efficiently, his Sharingan evolution accelerating from constant life or death combat. By week 4, he'd gained 2 levels, meaningless in system terms since he didn't have the system, but significant in actual combat ability. You're getting faster, Naruto observed during a break. Your chakra control is improving too. Desperation is a good teacher. Sasuke was panting, covered in minor wounds that Naruto would heal momentarily. This is insane. How did you survive this alone? Practice. And I had the system to guide me. Naruto tossed him a water bottle. But you're proving my point, Sasuke. Real strength comes from pushing past limits like not borrowing someone else's power. Will I be strong enough to fight Itachi? Eventually. Not today. Not this month. But if you keep training like this, keep pushing yourself, keep evolving. Naruto nodded. Yeah, you'll get there. It wasn't a complete solution. Sasuke's desire for revenge still burned, but at least he wasn't running to Orochimaru. At least he was choosing the harder path. That was growth. 2 weeks after the invasion, Naruto received a summons to the Hokage's office. Not unusual given recent events, but the timing was odd. Late evening, after normal hours, he arrived to find Hiruzen alone, the usual Anbu guards dismissed. The old man looked tired, his pipe unlit, his expression grave. Sit, Naruto. He sat. I've been thinking about what you told us, Hiruzen said slowly. About being reincarnated, about your previous life, about your power. The council wants to restrict you, study you, control you. Danzo in particular is pushing for you to be placed en route. That's not happening. I know. I've blocked every attempt so far, but Naruto, they're afraid. You're more powerful than most jonin already, and you're only 12. What happens when you're 20? When you have 1 million soldiers instead of 10,000? I protect the village, same as now. They don't trust that. They want guarantees, contracts, insurance that you won't turn on us. Naruto leaned back, studying the Hokage. What do you want, old man? You didn't call me here to tell me things I already know. Hiruzen smiled faintly. No, I called you here. I called you here to tell you that fully, completely. I've watched you since you awakened, seen how you interact with others, how you use your power. You're not a tyrant waiting to happen. You're a protector who happens to have overwhelming force. Thank you. But I need you to understand something. The Hokage's expression turned serious. The village is fragile right now. The invasion damaged our reputation, our defenses, our confidence. If you leave, if you turn against us, if you even appear to be a threat, it could break everything. I'm not planning to leave. I know, but plans change. So I'm asking you, Naruto Uzumaki, Shadow Monarch, reincarnation of whoever you were before, will you swear loyalty to Konohagakure? Not as a subordinate, not as a tool, but as a protector? Will you make an oath that you'll defend this village and its people, regardless of what the council says or does? Naruto considered the request. Jin-Woo had made similar oaths before, to protect his family, to save his world, to stand against the absolute being. Those oaths had cost him everything, but he'd never regretted them. I swear, he said simply. I, Naruto Uzumaki, the Shadow Monarch, swear to protect Konohagakure and its people. I will defend this village against all threats, internal and external. I will not turn my power against innocence. I will stand as a guardian, a king who protects his kingdom until my death or until the village no longer needs me. The oath resonated. Naruto felt it settle in his chest, not binding in a mystical sense, but real in the way personal commitments were real. He'd said the words. He'd meant them. That made them true. Hiruzen's eyes were wet again. The old man really needed to stop crying. Thank you, the Hokage said quietly. That's all I needed to hear. The confrontation at the Valley of the End came 1 month after the invasion. Sasuke, despite the training, despite the progress, decided to leave anyway. The Sound Four arrived with promises of power, and the Uchiha's desire for revenge outweighed his sense. Naruto tracked him alone. He didn't need backup, didn't want complications. They met at the valley, the massive statues of Hashirama and Madara looming over them. Sasuke was already marked, the cursed seal spreading across half his body, wings of cursed chakra sprouting from his back. Naruto, he said, I'm going to Orochimaru. You can't stop me. I can, Naruto corrected. The question is whether I should. You promised to help me get stronger. This is my choice. And you're choosing wrong. Orochimaru will consume you, Sasuke. You'll lose yourself chasing power. Then help me now, fight me. If I can beat you, prove I'm strong enough, I'll stay. Naruto sighed. The dramatics were exhausting. But fine, one final demonstration. All right, Sasuke, you want to see my world? I'll show you. His eyes glowed purple instead of blue, a shift that made Sasuke step back instinctively. Domain of the monarch. Reality shifted. The sky turned pitch black, stars winking out one by one. The Valley of the End's water turned to liquid shadow. The stone walls became obsidian, reflecting nothing. Gravity felt different, heavier, oppressive. Sasuke stumbled, his curse mark receding slightly, as if the domain itself suppressed foreign power. What is this? My world, my authority. Within this space, I am absolute. Naruto rose into the air, lifted by ruler's authority, his coat billowing despite no wind. And now, Sasuke, I'll show you the difference between us. All forces, arise. The response was catastrophic in scale. Shadows erupted from every surface, the ground, the walls, the darkened sky itself. Soldiers materialized in waves, thousands upon thousands, filling the valley from edge to edge. Infantry covered the ground like a black sea. Knights stood in formation, their armor gleaming darkly. Mages floated above, staffs ready. Archers lined the cliff walls, arrows knocked. Elite soldiers appeared, Tank with his massive shield, Iron in his granite armor, Tusk with crackling fire magic. The three marshals manifested last. Igris, the blood-red commander, his sword thirsting for battle. Beru, the Ant King, mandibles clicking with barely suppressed violence. Bellion, the Grand Marshal, his chain-whip sword coiled and ready. And above them all, 3 shadow dragons circled. Kaizel, Kamish, and a third unnamed beast, each over 100 feet long, their roars shaking the valley. 100,000 soldiers. Naruto's full strength. Every shadow he'd collected across months of grinding in battles and dungeon clears. They stood at attention, waiting for orders, an army that could conquer nations. Sasuke's Sharingan spun frantically, trying to process the scope of what he was seeing. His Chidori, prepared for combat, flickered and died. His curse mark retreated completely. He fell to his knees, not from force but from sheer psychological weight. "This," Naruto said quietly, his voice carrying across the vast army, "is the difference between a ninja and a monarch. You chase power to kill one man. I command power that could level countries. Do you understand now? Do you see why I don't need Orochimaru? Why shortcuts are meaningless?" Sasuke couldn't speak, couldn't move. His entire body trembled, caught between awe and despair and absolute understanding of how far behind he truly was. Beru descended, landing gently beside the kneeling Uchiha. The Ant King regarded him with compound eyes, then reached out with one massive claw and flicked Sasuke's forehead gently. Exactly like Itachi used to do. Sasuke's eyes rolled back. He collapsed unconscious. Naruto landed beside him, the army still standing at attention. "Beru, take him back to the village, gently. He's still my comrade." "As you command, my liege." Beru lifted Sasuke carefully, cradling the unconscious Genin like a child. "Shall I deliver him to the Hokage?" "Yes. Tell them he's recovered from temporary insanity." Stress the temporary part. The shadow soldiers began their march toward Konoha, a tide of darkness flowing through the forest. Civilians would see them coming from miles away. The whole village would witness Naruto's army returning, carrying their wayward Uchiha. Good. Let them see. Let them understand what they had in their midst. Naruto walked at the head of his forces, a 12-year-old king leading an army of shadows, the domain of the monarch still active around them. The forest itself seemed to bend, acknowledging his authority. They reached Konoha's gates just before dawn. The entire village had assembled again, ninja on the walls, civilians in the streets, all staring at the approaching darkness. Hiruzen stood at the gate, flanked by Jonin and Anbu. His expression was carefully neutral, but his eyes showed understanding. He'd expected something like this. Naruto stopped 30 feet from the gate, his army halting with perfect synchronization. Beru stepped forward, placing Sasuke gently on the ground before the Hokage. "He tried to leave," Naruto said simply. "I convinced him otherwise. He's not a traitor. He's confused. He will recover." Hiruzen looked at Sasuke's unconscious form, at the massive Ant King, at the army stretching back through the forest as far as eyes could see. "And you needed 100,000 soldiers to convince him?" "I needed to show him why leaving was pointless. He understands now." The Hokage almost smiled. "I see. Thank you for returning him safely. It's what teammates do." Naruto looked past Hiruzen at the assembled village. "I am Naruto Uzumaki, the Shadow Monarch. I have protected this village in secret. I have fought its battles. I have saved its people. Now you know the truth. This village is under my protection whether you accept it or not." His army raised weapons in unison, a salute to their king and his kingdom. "Part of me," Naruto continued, "wants to apologize for the fear this causes, for being something you don't understand. But I won't. I am what I am. You can fear me or trust me, hate me or accept me. Either way, I'll keep protecting you. That's what kings do." He gestured, and the army dissolved. 100,000 shadows flowing back into his personal darkness, vanishing in seconds until only Naruto stood before the gates, a 12-year-old boy, alone, small, but carrying the weight of a monarch and the loyalty of millions. "I'm still just a genin," he said quietly. "Still Naruto. The power is mine, but the person hasn't changed. Remember that." He walked through the gates. The crowd parted silently, creating a path. Some faces showed fear. Others showed respect. A few showed something like awe. Hinata stood near the front, tears streaming down her face again. She stepped forward, hesitant, then threw her arms around him in a tight hug. "I knew you were special," she whispered. "I'm glad you're on our side." Naruto hugged her back, feeling human connection pierce through the loneliness that had defined both his lives. "Thanks, Hinata. That means more than you know." Others approached slowly. Team 7 reunited. Kakashi with proud eyes, Sakura with tentative acceptance, Sasuke unconscious but alive. Other Genin teams, watching with new understanding. Iruka crying openly, telling him he'd always known Naruto was destined for greatness. The Shadow Monarch stood among his people, no longer hiding, no longer alone. The mask of the loud prankster was gone, replaced by the truth, a king who'd chosen to protect rather than rule, a power that served rather than dominated. Sunrise broke over Konoha, painting the village in gold and orange. Naruto looked up at it, feeling something Jin-Woo had lost toward the end of his journey: hope, connection. Purpose that extended beyond mere survival. He'd been the weakest hunter. He'd become the strongest. He'd saved one world at terrible cost. Now he'd protect this one differently. Not alone. Not through sacrifice and regression, but as part of something larger. A village, a team, a community. The Shadow Monarch had returned. But this time, he had a home. The sunrise painted Konoha in shades of gold that reminded Naruto of dungeon treasure hoards. Beautiful, but ultimately meaningless compared to what he'd found here. Hinata's arms were still wrapped around him, her face buried in his chest, and he could feel her heartbeat against his ribs. Real, warm, alive. Not like the cold shadows that comprised most of his power. "Thank you," he said quietly, for her ears alone. She looked up, those pale Byakugan eyes shimmering with tears. "For what?" "Reminding me I'm human." The crowd around them had started to disperse, the spectacle of his army's return fading into nervous chatter and sidelong glances. Some people still stared. Civilians who'd never seen him as anything but the Demon Fox container, now forced to recalibrate their entire worldview. Others deliberately looked away, fear replacing hatred, but somehow feeling just as isolating. Kakashi approached, his visible eye crinkling in what might have been a smile beneath the mask. "Well, that was dramatic." "It worked," Naruto said. "Sasuke's alive. The village is safe. You've terrified 3 continents." The Jonin tilted his head. "I'd call that a successful mission. He'll wake up angry. He wakes up angry every day. This is just Tuesday for him." Kakashi's tone turned more serious. "The council's going to want answers. Hiruzen's buying you time, but Danzo's already moving. Root operatives are mobilizing." Naruto's eyes flashed blue. "Let them." "Naruto, I'm done hiding, sensei. Done pretending to be weak. Done letting politicians decide my worth. I made an oath to protect this village. I didn't promise to make it convenient." Kakashi studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "Fair enough. Just try not to start a civil war before breakfast." "No promises." The Jonin walked away, already pulling out his book. Typical. Hinata tugged Naruto's sleeve. "You should rest. You've been fighting all night." "I don't need." He stopped, seeing her expression. Concern. Genuine care that had nothing to do with his power or usefulness. Yeah, rest sounds good." They walked through the village together, and Naruto noticed how people parted for them now. Not with the active hostility of his childhood, but with wary respect that somehow felt lonelier. He traded invisible for untouchable, progress maybe, or just a different kind of isolation. His apartment was exactly as he'd left it, cramped, sparse, decorated with instant ramen cups and training scrolls. Hinata wrinkled her nose at the mess but didn't comment, just started cleaning while Naruto collapsed on the futon. "You don't have to do that," he said. "I want to." She picked up a cup with something growing in it, made a disgusted sound, and carried it to the trash. "When's the last time you actually lived here?" "Few weeks ago. I've been in instant dungeons mostly. Time dilation means I can grind for days while only hours pass outside." That sounds lonely. It was. Jin-Woo had spent years in dungeons, pushing himself beyond human limits, sacrificing connection for power. Naruto had inherited that drive and all the isolation that came with it. "Yeah," he admitted. "It is." Hinata sat beside him, her hand finding his. "You don't have to do everything alone anymore. You have teammates, friends, me." The word hung in the air between them, weighted with possibility. Naruto squeezed her hand gently. "I'm not good at this," he said. "Jin-Woo had someone once, Chahayen, but he gave up those memories, that connection, everything human about himself to save his world. I inherited his power but also his loneliness. I don't know how to be close to people anymore. Then we'll figure it out together." Hinata's voice was quiet but firm. "I've loved you since we were children, Naruto. Before you had this power, when you were just the loud kid everyone ignored. I don't care about your shadows or your army or your title. I care about you." Something cracked in Naruto's chest. Not painful, but like ice breaking after a long winter. He pulled her closer, burying his face in her hair, and let himself feel human for the first time in months. "Thank you," he whispered. They stayed like that until exhaustion claimed him. Hinata's presence anchoring him to reality, while shadows danced at the edges of his consciousness. For once, Naruto slept without nightmares of the Chaos World or memories of Jin-Woo's sacrifices. He dreamed of sunrise and warmth and home. The council meeting started exactly 4 hours later, interrupting what would have been a peaceful morning if Naruto had been anyone else. An Anbu appeared outside his window, knocked politely, and informed him that his presence was requested immediately. Translation: demanded. Naruto left Hinata sleeping. She'd stayed the whole time, refusing to leave him alone. And Shadow exchanged directly to the council chambers. The technique teleported him through his Shadow Scout's positions, depositing him in the center of the room mid-conversation. Several counselors jumped. Danzo didn't even blink. Dramatic as always, Uzumaki, the Warhawk said. You summoned me. I came. What else do you want? Hiruzen sat at the head of the table, looking older than his years. Naruto, we need to discuss your demonstration last night. The army you revealed represents a significant shift in village power dynamics. I protected the village. That's what you pay me for. You revealed capabilities far beyond what we'd authorized, another counselor said, some civilian administrator whose name Naruto hadn't bothered learning. That army could conquer nations. How do we know you won't turn it against us? I swore an oath to the Hokage. My word is binding. Words are cheap, Danzo said flatly. Power requires accountability. I'm proposing that you be placed under root supervision. Your abilities would be studied, documented, and deployed only with council approval. Naruto laughed. Actually laughed, the sound cold and sharp. You want to study me? Document my abilities? Deploy me like a weapon? You are a weapon, an exceptionally powerful one. Weapons require handlers. I'm not a kunai you can sharpen and throw, Danzo. I'm a king. Kings don't answer to bureaucrats. The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Frost formed on the windows. Shadows lengthened despite the morning sun, reaching toward the counselors like grasping hands. Are you threatening this council? Danzo demanded. I'm clarifying reality. Naruto's eyes glowed faint blue. I made an oath to protect Konoha. That includes protecting it from itself. If you try to control me, study me, or treat me like property, you'll discover exactly how little authority you actually have. Hokage-sama, enough. Hiruzen's voice cut through the tension. Danzo, your proposal is denied. Naruto has demonstrated nothing but loyalty to this village. His methods are unconventional, but effective. We will not treat him as an enemy simply because we don't understand his power. This is a mistake, Danzo said. It's my mistake to make, dismissed. The counselors filed out, most looking relieved to escape. Danzo lingered, his single visible eye locked on Naruto with calculation that promised future problems. You can't protect him forever, Hiruzen, the Warhawk said. I don't need to protect him. He's more than capable of protecting himself. The Hokage's tone turned hard. What I need to protect is this village from your schemes. Touch Naruto, and I'll personally disband Root and throw you in Anbu prison. Am I clear? Danzo's jaw tightened. He left without responding. Once they were alone, Hiruzen sagged in his chair. That man is going to be a problem. Want me to kill him? Naruto asked casually. No, absolutely not. We have enough political complications without adding assassination to the list. He's planning something. His chakra signature is suppressed but active. Root hasn't disbanded, it's just gone underground again. I know. I have Anbu monitoring the situation. Hiruzen pulled out his pipe, lit it with practiced ease. Naruto, I need you to understand something. You're powerful enough to level this village if you wanted. That terrifies people. Danzo's response is extreme, but the fear behind it is real. I've done nothing but protect them. I know, but fear doesn't care about logic. It cares about possibility. The old man blew smoke thoughtfully. You need to give them time. Let your actions speak louder than your demonstrations. Show them the king you claim to be, protector, not conqueror. Naruto considered that. Jin-Woo had ruled through overwhelming force, his mere existence enough to make enemies surrender. But that world had dungeons and hunters who understood power hierarchies. This world had ninja who valued cunning over strength, politics over dominance, different game, different rules. Fine, he said. I'll be patient. But if Danzo makes a move, then we'll deal with it together. You're not alone in this, Naruto. The words echoed Hinata's from earlier, and Naruto felt that same warmth in his chest. Not alone. Such a simple concept, but it had eluded Jin-Woo until the very end. Thank you, old man. Hiruzen smiled. You're welcome, Shadow Monarch. Now get out of here. I have paperwork to finish, and you're distracting. Naruto Shadow, exchanged away, leaving the Hokage to his bureaucracy. Team 7 assembled the next morning at Training Ground 7, the familiar clearing where they'd started as Jinin months ago. Sasuke was already there, sitting against a tree with his eyes closed, looking remarkably calm for someone who'd been knocked unconscious by a giant ant. Sakura arrived second, then Kakashi reading his book, then Naruto appearing via teleportation because walking was for people without shadow networks. Show off, Sasuke muttered. Efficient, Naruto corrected. They stared at each other for a long moment, tension crackling. Then Sasuke stood, walked over and extended his hand. Thank you, the Uchiha said stiffly, for stopping me. I was making a mistake. Naruto shook his hand. You were desperate. I get it, but Orochimaru's not the answer. I know that now. Sasuke's Sharingan activated briefly, 3 Tomoe spinning. I saw your army, really saw it, with these eyes. The scope of your power is... He trailed off, searching for words. Incomprehensible. I'll never catch up at the rate I'm going. Not with that attitude. I'm serious, Naruto. You're beyond Kaji level already. I'm barely Jonin. How am I supposed to? By training smarter instead of harder. Naruto gestured to the empty training ground. I can open instant dungeons. Time dilation means days inside equal hours outside. You want to get stronger? I'll give you the tools, but you have to actually use them instead of running to snake pedophiles for shortcuts. Sasuke's eye twitched at the description. That's not fine. What kind of training? The kind that'll make you wish you'd chosen Orochimaru. Kakashi lowered his book. I'm listening. All of you. Naruto looked at his team, the Jonin sensei who taught him, the Uchiha rival who pushed him, the Kunoichi teammate who'd started seeing him as protector. I've been grinding alone for months, building my power in isolation. But that's Jin-Woo's path, and it cost him everything human about himself. I don't want that. So train with us, Sakura said. We'll keep you human, and we'll get stronger in the process, Sasuke added. Everyone wins. Naruto smiled, the expression genuine and rare. All right then, instant dungeon create. Reality folded. The training ground dissolved into a vast stone arena surrounded by darkness, the air thick with hostile energy. Monsters materialized at the edges, C-rank equivalent, humanoid shapes with claws and armor and weapons. Rules are simple, Naruto said. Survive 1 hour, kill as many as you can, don't die. What's the difficulty? Kakashi asked, already uncovering his Sharingan. Appropriate for your level, the dungeon scales. Naruto stepped back, shadows flowing around him. Begin. The monsters charged. Sasuke moved first, hands blurring through seals. Fire style, Phoenix Flower Jutsu. Small fireballs shot from his mouth, homing in on targets. 3 monsters burned, but a dozen more kept coming. Sasuke drew kunai, his Sharingan tracking movements, and engaged in close combat. The Uchiha was fast, genuinely skilled with prediction and precision that came from bloodline advantage, but he got overwhelmed within 30 seconds. Monsters flanking him from angles his eyes couldn't track simultaneously. Sakura rushed in, chakra-enhanced fist, crushing a monster's skull. Watch your blind spots. I don't have blind spots with these eyes. You clearly do. They bickered while fighting, covering each other's weaknesses through familiarity rather than coordination. Effective enough against C-rank threats, Kakashi fought with economy, each movement precise. Lightning crackled around his hand, Chidori cutting through monster armor like paper. He killed 5 in 10 seconds, then paused to assess the battlefield. There's too many, the Jonin observed. We need better formation. Figure it out, Naruto called from his safe position. This is training, not babysitting. A monster broke through their defensive line, rushing straight at Naruto. He raised one hand lazily. Arise. A single shadow soldier materialized, standard infantry type. The soldier intercepted the monster mid-charge, spear punching through its chest. The creature dissolved into black smoke. You're just gonna watch? Sasuke shouted, dodging a claw swipe. I'm supervising. There's a difference. The hour passed brutally. Team 7 adapted, found rhythm, discovered how to fight as unit instead of individuals. Sasuke's Sharingan tracked enemy movements and called out warnings. Sakura's medical knowledge let her target weak points efficiently. Kakashi coordinated their positioning, using terrain advantage. They survived. Barely, when the dungeon dissolved, all 3 collapsed on the grass, breathing hard, covered in minor wounds that would heal. That, Sasuke gasped, was insane. That was C-rank, Naruto said. You'll train here daily. We'll increase difficulty as you improve. Within a month, you'll be fighting B-rank threats. Within 3, A rank. We'll die, Sakura protested. You'll get stronger. Death is just motivation to improve faster. Kakashi sat up, wiping blood from a cut on his cheek. How often do you do this alone? Every day. Multiple runs. I cleared an S-rank dungeon last week. And you're 12. Physically. Mentally, I'm older. Naruto's expression turned distant. Jin-Woo spent decades in dungeons before he reached his peak. I'm trying to compress that timeline. Why the rush? Kakashi asked quietly. Naruto didn't answer immediately. The system window appeared in his vision, showing a quest he hadn't mentioned to anyone. Quest, The Coming Storm. Difficulty. Prepare for Monarch's arrival, survival. He dismissed it with a thought. Because threats don't wait for you to be ready. Better to over-prepare than underestimate. The words hung heavy, and Kakashi's eye narrowed like he suspected there was more to it. But the Jonin didn't push, just stood and dusted himself off. Same time tomorrow? Every day until the next mission? Naruto confirmed. Team 7 dispersed, leaving Naruto alone in the training ground. He sat against the tree Sasuke had occupied earlier, watching clouds drift across blue sky, and wondered how long he had before the monarchs found him. The system had detected them. That meant gates were opening somewhere in this world, bridging dimensions, allowing the Chaos World's rulers to cross over. They'd hunted Jin-Woo across death itself. Why wouldn't they hunt his reincarnation across realities? I need to get stronger, he muttered. Much stronger. His shadow rippled in response, eager and hungry. The army wanted to grow. They always did. Naruto opened another instant dungeon and went grinding. 3 days later, 2 figures entered Konoha through the main gate, their approach so casual that guards almost didn't react until they saw the headbands, scratched out, marking them as missing 9. One was tall, blue-skinned, carrying a sword wrapped in bandages that radiated malevolent chakra. The other was shorter, dark-haired, his eyes the red of fully mature Sharingan. Itachi Uchiha and Kasame Hoshigaki had arrived. They walked through the village streets openly, making no attempt at stealth. Civilians fled. Ninja mobilized. Within minutes, Anbu surrounded them in a loose perimeter, waiting for orders but not attacking. Bold, Kasame observed, grinning to show shark-like teeth. Walking into a hidden village in broad daylight? Think they'll make it easy? No, Itachi said calmly, but we're not here for them. His Sharingan tracked movement, rooftops, alleyways, shadows, searching for a specific chakra signature, one that had been reported as wrong, twisted, not matching the Kyuubi Jinchuriki they'd expected. He found it. Naruto appeared in the street ahead of them, hands in pockets, expression bored. Itachi Uchiha, Kasame Hoshigaki. Akatsuki members, S-rank criminals wanted in 5 countries. You're either very confident or very stupid. We're here for you, Itachi said. The Nine Tails. The Nine Tails is sealed inside me. I'm something else entirely. Kasame laughed, unwrapping Samehada. The sword's scales shifted hungrily, tasting the air. Doesn't matter what you are, we have orders to capture you. Try not to die too quickly, makes the trip back boring. He swung Samehada in a wide arc. The sword extended on its chain, whistling toward Naruto's head with enough force to crater stone. Naruto caught it with his bare hand. Samehada's scales screeched against his palm, trying to shred flesh and absorb chakra. Neither worked. Naruto's defense stat was too high, his power not chakra-based enough for the sword to drain effectively. Beru, he said calmly, handle this one. The street's shadow exploded. Beru the Ant King rose in his full 12-foot glory, mandibles clicking, forearms spreading wide. The Shadow Marshal looked at Kasame with compound eyes that reflected the Shark Nin's shocked expression. You dare attack my king with such a pathetic weapon? Beru's claws flashed, moving faster than most eyes could track. Kasame barely blocked with Samehada, the impact sending him skidding backward. The Shark Nin recovered quickly, grinning wider. Now this is interesting. A real monster. Monster? Beru sounded offended. I am Shadow Marshal Beru, the Ant King, loyal servant of the Shadow Monarch. You are the monster. He attacked with all 4 arms, a blur of chitin and fury. Kasame defended desperately, Samehada absorbing what chakra it could, but struggling against Beru's overwhelming physical strength. The battle moved into the street, cratering pavement, shattering windows, civilians fleeing the collateral. Itachi watched his partner fight, then turned his attention back to Naruto. Interesting technique. That creature isn't a summon. What is it? A shadow, one of many. Naruto's eyes glowed blue. You're here for the Nine Tails? You won't get it. Leave now and I'll let you live. I don't think you understand the situation. Itachi's Sharingan spun, 3 Tomoe bleeding into complex patterns, Mangekyo Sharingan activated. Tsukuyomi, the genjutsu hit with the force of a meteor. Reality inverted, colors bleeding into monochrome red. Naruto found himself strapped to a cross in an endless void, Itachi standing before him holding a sword. In this world, Itachi said quietly, I control everything. Time, space, mass, perception. You'll experience 72 hours of torture in 3 seconds. Most break within the first day. He raised the sword. Naruto laughed. You think trapping my mind works? I've been through worse than this. Have you? Itachi stabbed the sword through Naruto's chest. Pain exploded, sharper than anything physical, designed to break the psyche. Can you survive this? Domain of the Monarch. Naruto's power erupted outward, not fighting the genjutsu, but overwhelming it. Purple light flooded the Tsukuyomi world, shadows pouring from every corner. The red sky cracked, reality fracturing under pressure. Your genjutsu creates an illusion of control, Naruto said, his voice echoing with authority that transcended mental technique. My domain establishes actual control. Hierarchy matters, Itachi, and I outrank you. The Tsukuyomi shattered. They were back in the street, but something was wrong with Itachi. The Uchiha's Mangekyo was bleeding, his body trembling from chakra exhaustion. Using Tsukuyomi carried a cost. Using it and having it broken catastrophically amplified that cost. Impossible, Itachi breathed. No one breaks Tsukuyomi from inside. I'm not no one. Naruto stepped forward, activating bloodlust at minimal power. I'm the Shadow Monarch. Your brother saw my army and fainted. What makes you think your illusions scare me? The killing intent washed over Itachi, and even his legendary composure cracked. Visions flooded his mind. Death across 1,000 iterations, each one vivid and convincing. His subconscious screamed danger, every instinct demanding retreat. He forced himself to stand firm. Amaterasu! Black flames erupted from his vision, targeting Naruto's center mass. The flames that never extinguished, that burned everything, that even other fire techniques couldn't stop. Naruto raised one hand. Ruler's authority. Telekinetic force grabbed the flames mid-flight, holding them suspended in midair. The black fire writhed, trying to burn its invisible restraints, but Naruto's authority was absolute. He compressed the flames into a sphere, then flicked it toward an empty lot. The Amaterasu hit dirt and burned, blackening a 20-foot circle, contained and harmless. Your techniques are impressive, Naruto acknowledged. But they're still just techniques. I can counter anything if I understand the mechanics. Itachi's breathing was labored, his chakra reserves dangerously low from dual Mangekyo usage. He'd expected an easy capture. Akatsuki intelligence said the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki was a barely competent genin. They'd been wrong, catastrophically wrong. Nearby, Kasame was losing. Beru had grabbed Samehada with all 4 hands, ripped the sword away from its wielder, and was currently beating Kasame with his own weapon. The Shark Nine looked genuinely distressed. Itachi, he shouted, this thing won't die. Because I am Shadow, already dead. You cannot kill what has no life. Beru brought Samehada down on Kasame's head. The impact drove the missing nin into the pavement, creating a crater. Blood pooled, and Kasame didn't get up immediately. Kakashi arrived via Shunshin, followed by Guy, Asuma, and Kurenai, Konoha's Jonin response force. They spread out, surrounding the Akatsuki pair, ready to engage. Stand down, Kakashi ordered. You're outnumbered and outmatched. Itachi assessed the situation coldly. His chakra was nearly depleted. Kasame was concussed. They were surrounded by elite Jonin and one genin who'd somehow countered Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu like they were academy tricks. Retreat was the only logical option. We'll withdraw, Itachi said. But this isn't over. Akatsuki will return for the Nine-Tails. You can try, Naruto said, but bring better techniques next time. These ones didn't work. Something flashed in Itachi's eyes, respect maybe, or recalculation. He grabbed Kasame, used the last of his chakra for a Shunshin, and they vanished in a swirl of crows. Beru held Samehada triumphantly. My king, I have claimed this pathetic sword as trophy. Keep it, you earned it. I shall treasure it forever. Beru vanished back into shadow, taking the stolen weapon with him. The Jonin stared at Naruto, processing what they just witnessed. Kakashi spoke first. You just fought off 2 S-rank missing nin, alone. Beru helped. Your shadow helped, Kakashi corrected. Same thing. Naruto, that was Itachi Uchiha, Sasuke's brother, the man who murdered his entire clan, and you just sent him running. He was using genjutsu. I'm resistant to mental manipulation. Naruto looked at the damage. Cratered street, burned buildings, scattered debris. Sorry about the collateral. Forget the buildings, Asuma said. How did you break Tsukuyomi? That's supposed to be impossible. I established dominance over his mental space. My domain trumps his illusion. Naruto said it like it was obvious. Any genjutsu that tries to trap my mind has to contend with the fact that I'm already controlling my own mental landscape absolutely. That's not how genjutsu works, Kurenai protested. She was the village's genjutsu specialist. Mental techniques override consciousness directly. You can't just decide to be immune. I'm not immune. I'm just more dominant. Hierarchy matters. Guy flexed, his teeth gleaming. Yosh! The power of youth combined with absolute authority. Truly, Naruto-kun, your flames of passion burn bright. Everyone ignored him. They always did. Akatsuki will report back, Kakashi said, thinking tactically. They'll know you're not an easy target now. That might buy us time, or it might make them send stronger forces. Let them send whoever they want. Naruto's tone was flat, certain. I'll handle it. You can't fight an entire organization alone. Why not? Jin-Woo did. The name meant nothing to them, but the conviction behind it did. Kakashi sighed, recognizing that particular brand of stubborn determination. At least keep us informed. Let us help. Fine, but if Itachi comes back, he's mine. I need to talk to him anyway. About what? Naruto thought about Sasuke, about the revenge quest driving his teammate, about the complex truth of Itachi's loyalty to Konoha hidden behind genocide. Classified. Personal business. He shadow exchanged away before anyone could argue, leaving the Jonin to explain the situation to arriving Anbu and very angry council members. That night, Naruto sat on the Hokage monument, staring at stars he could name in 2 different languages, Japanese and Korean, memories from both lives overlapping in his head. The system window floated in his vision, showing his progress. Shadow soldiers, 250, new shadows available, 12. The fight with Itachi hadn't given him levels. The Uchiha had retreated before death, so no extraction. But the captured Akatsuki thugs from earlier in the week had added some basic infantry to his ranks, still nowhere near Jin-Woo's peak of 10 million soldiers, but growing. You're thinking too loud. Hinata's voice. She appeared via the rooftops, jumping with improved agility from her training. Her Byakugan was active, veins visible around her eyes. How'd you find me? I can see your chakra from anywhere in the village. It's distinctive. She sat beside him, close enough that their shoulders touched. Are you okay? I heard about the Akatsuki attack. I'm fine. They retreated. I know. Everyone knows. You're the talk of the village again. Her tone turned wry. First, the Shadow Monarch reveal, then defeating S-rank criminals in the middle of the street. You really don't do subtle, do you? Subtle is for people with something to hide. And you don't? Naruto thought about the quest warning of monarchs, about the dimensional threat he couldn't explain without sounding insane. Not from you. The admission surprised him as much as her, but it was true. Hinata had seen him at his weakest and still cared. She'd accepted the Shadow Monarch without fear. If anyone deserved honesty, it was her. There's something coming, he said quietly. Something worse than Akatsuki, worse than any ninja threat. The system warned me. Monarchs from my previous world are going to find me here. Monarchs? Rulers of the Chaos world. Beings of absolute power who fought Jin-Woo for control of existence. He defeated them by giving up his humanity, becoming pure authority, sacrificing everything human about himself. Naruto's hands clenched. I inherited his power, which means I inherited his enemies. They'll come, eventually. And when they do, this world isn't ready. Hinata absorbed that, her Byakugan reading the truth in his chakra patterns. How long do we have? I don't know. Could be months. Could be years. The system doesn't specify. Then we prepare. She said it simply, with absolute confidence. You train, I train. The village gets stronger. We face it together when it comes. You can't fight monarchs, Hinata. They're beyond Kage level, beyond anything this world has encountered. Maybe, but you're not facing them alone this time. She took his hand, lacing their fingers together. That's the difference between you and Jin-Woo, right? He fought alone. You have allies, teammates, me. The warmth in his chest expanded, pushing back the cold certainty of coming conflict. Naruto looked at her, really looked, seeing the determination in her pale eyes, the strength she'd built through training and stubbornness. You're stronger than I thought, he admitted. I've always been strong, you just never noticed. I noticed. I was just... He struggled for words, distracted by power, by survival, by becoming strong enough to protect everyone. I forgot to actually see the people I was protecting. See me now? He did. Hinata Hyuga, heir to a powerful clan, girl who'd loved him since childhood, Kunoichi who trained herself past her limits to stand beside him. Not as subordinate or follower, but as equal in the ways that mattered. Naruto kissed her. It was clumsy, neither had experience, and the angle was awkward with both sitting. But it was real, genuine connection between two people who'd spent too long being lonely. When they broke apart, Hinata was blushing so hard her Byakugan deactivated. That was nice, Naruto finished. Yeah, nice. They sat in comfortable silence, hands still linked, watching stars drift across the night sky. For the first time since awakening as the Shadow Monarch, Naruto felt something other than the drive to get stronger. He felt content. The moment lasted exactly 3 minutes before the system notification appeared. Emergency quest triggered. Gambit. Objective: survive Danzo's assassination attempt. Reward: root headquarters location. Failure: death. Naruto's eyes snapped open. We need to move. Now. What? Shadows erupted around them. Not Naruto's. These were different, hostile, carrying the chakra signatures of highly trained root operatives. 12 of them materialized on the monument, surrounding their position, all wearing blank animal masks and carrying assassination weapons. Uzumaki Naruto, the leader said, voice flat and emotionless. By order of Danzo-sama, you are to be detained for study and containment. Surrender peacefully, and the girl won't be harmed. Detained? Naruto stood slowly, pulling Hinata behind him. That's cute. You really think 12 root agents can contain me? We know your capabilities. We've prepared accordingly. The leader made a hand sign. Sealing formation, binding coffin. Tags activated around the monument, glowing with suppression seals designed to lock down chakra networks. A barrier formed, cutting them off from reinforcements, and the root agents attacked as one. They were good. Jonin-level coordination, no hesitation, targeting vital points with poison-coated weapons. A normal genin would have died in the first 3 seconds. Naruto raised one hand. Tank, Iron, guard Hinata. 2 shadows materialized instantly. Tank, the massive armored warrior, planted himself in front of Hinata with his shield raised. Iron, the granite golem, took position beside him. Both were defensive specialists, built to protect. What? Who are these? Hinata stammered. My elite soldiers, you're safe. Naruto turned his attention to the root agents. Now then, you came to kill me. Let's see how that works out. He activated stealth. The world shifted. Naruto's presence vanished completely, not invisible, but erased from perception itself. The root agents immediately spread out, activating sensory techniques, trying to track by chakra signature or displacement. Useless. Stealth suppressed everything. Naruto walked casually to the first agent, the one who'd spoken, and tapped his shoulder. The agent whirled, kunai slashing through empty air. Naruto had already moved, appearing behind a second agent. Vital strike. His fist, enhanced with overwhelming speed and precision, punched through the second agent's spine. The root operative collapsed, paralyzed but alive. 11 left, Naruto said from nowhere. Panic crept into their coordination. Root agents were trained to suppress emotion, but fear was instinctive when facing an enemy you couldn't see, couldn't track, couldn't fight. Another agent dropped, Naruto strike severing tendons. Then another, knee shattered. Then another, ribs crushed. The leader tried to flee, abandoning the mission in favor of survival. Naruto appeared in front of him, still invisible, and clotheslined the operative hard enough to flip him completely. Running already? We just started. He deactivated stealth, becoming visible again. 8 root agents were down, injured but alive. The remaining 4 had clustered together, backs to each other, desperate. Last chance, Naruto said. Leave. Tell Danzo that if he tries this again, I won't stop at injuries. I'll extract every single one of you as shadows and make you serve me instead. We have orders. Your orders don't matter. I'm giving you life. Take it or lose it. 3 agents fled immediately, shunshinning away before their courage could fail completely. The 4th, loyal, stupid, or both, charged with a sword glowing with lightning chakra, Naruto sighed. Bellion. The Grand Marshal materialized mid-swing, his chain-whip sword intercepting the root agent's attack. The lightning-coated blade shattered against obsidian links. Bellion's follow-through sent the agent flying off the monument, unconscious before he hit the ground far below. Pathetic, Bellion intoned. These insects dare challenge my king with such weakness? They tried. Give them credit for that. I give them nothing but contempt. Bellion dissolved back into shadow. The barrier around the monument flickered and failed, the seals disrupted by Naruto's overwhelming power. Medical teams would find the injured root agents and deliver them to TNI for questioning. Danzo would learn his assassination attempt had failed spectacularly. Naruto turned back to Hinata, who was staring at him with wide eyes. Sorry about that. Political complications. You defeated 12 assassins in under 2 minutes. They were root, trained to fight normal opponents, not Shadow Monarchs. He helped her stand. Are you hurt? No. Your shadows protected me. She looked at Tank and Iron, both still standing guard. They're incredible. They're loyal. Naruto dismissed both soldiers with a thought. Come on, we should report this to the Hokage before Danzo spins it his way. They descended the monument via careful jumping. Hinata could manage it easily now after her training. The village was stirring, ninja responding to the barrier's activation, but Naruto and Hinata reached the Hokage Tower first. Hiruzen was waiting, still dressed in his sleeping robes, looking exhausted and furious in equal measure. Danzo, the old man said flatly. It was Danzo. 12 root agents, Naruto confirmed. They tried to detain me for study. I disabled them non-lethally and sent them packing. Non-lethally. Hiruzen's tone suggested he might have preferred otherwise. That's more restraint than I'd have shown. Thank you. I made an oath to protect the village. Killing root agents would have caused civil war. Not worth it. Naruto paused. But if he tries again, I won't be as gentle. He won't get the chance. I'm done with political maneuvering. Hiruzen stood, and despite his age, he looked every inch the god of shinobi who'd earned his legend. Danzo Shimura will be stripped of all authority and placed under house arrest pending formal investigation. Root will be disbanded, its operatives reassigned to standard Anbu or civilian life. This ends tonight. He'll resist, Hinata said quietly. Let him try. I'm still Hokage, and my word is law. The old man's eyes hardened. Naruto, I need you to come with me. We're going to Root headquarters. Your shadow scouts can track Danzo's location, yes? Already done. He's 3 levels below ground, northwest quadrant of the village. Hidden facility beneath a defunct training hall. Perfect. Let's pay him a visit. They gathered an Anbu team, Hiruzen's most loyal operatives, masked and armed. Naruto led them through the village via the most direct route, his scouts marking Danzo's exact position with precision. The training hall looked abandoned, its entrance chained. Naruto kicked the door open with casual force, the chain snapping like thread. Inside was dust and decay, exactly what you'd expect from a forgotten building, except his shadow scouts showed dozens of signatures below ground. Concealed entrance in the back room, Naruto reported. Seal hidden. I can break it. Do it. Ruler's authority shattered the concealment seals like glass. A staircase appeared, descending into darkness lit by torches. They went down, Anbu forming protective formation around the Hokage. Naruto walking point because nothing in Root could threaten him. The headquarters was extensive. Training rooms, barracks, medical facilities, all designed to create emotionless killing machines. Root agents appeared from doorways and corridors, blocking their path. Stand aside, Hiruzen ordered. By my authority as Hokage, this facility is being shut down. You will surrender peacefully or be subdued forcefully. Most hesitated, torn between loyalty to Danzo and fear of the Hokage. A few attacked anyway, 2 indoctrinated to back down. Naruto's shadow soldiers handled them. Infantry types materialized in perfect formation, disarming and restraining root agents with overwhelming numbers. Not killing, just containing. They found Danzo in his office, the old warhawk sitting calmly behind a desk like nothing was wrong. Hiruzen, he said mildly, this is unexpected. You attempted to assassinate Naruto Uzumaki. You violated direct orders to disband Root. You've committed treason, Danzo. The Hokage's voice was ice. I should execute you here and now. But you won't. You're too soft. You always have been. Danzo stood, his bandaged arm already unwrapping to reveal implanted Sharingan eyes. I did what was necessary for the village's protection. That boy is too dangerous to leave unchecked. The boy defeated your assassins in under 2 minutes, Naruto pointed out. Maybe I'm dangerous because I'm stronger than you thought, not because I'm evil. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. I've seen it before, with Hashirama, with your father, with every strong leader who thought they could resist. Danzo's visible eye fixed on Naruto with absolute certainty. You'll turn on us eventually. Better to control you now than face you as an enemy later. You can't control me. No one can. I'm not a weapon to be aimed, Danzo. I'm a king who chose this village as his kingdom. There's a difference. Kings are tyrants waiting to happen. Then watch me prove you wrong. Danzo's hand moved toward a seal. Izanagi activation gesture, the Sharingan technique that rewrote reality to avoid death. Naruto was faster. Ruler's authority. Telekinetic force grabbed Danzo and slammed him into the wall hard enough to crack stone. The old man gasped, his Izanagi seal incomplete, his stolen Sharingan spinning uselessly. I could kill you, Naruto said quietly. Right now, end this problem permanently, but I won't, because Hiruzen-sama asked me not to start a civil war. He released the pressure. Consider this mercy. Don't mistake it for weakness. Hiruzen gestured to his Anbu. Take him into custody. Strip those Sharingan, their stolen property, evidence of illegal experimentation. He'll face trial for treason. They dragged Danzo away, the old Warhawk's expression one of cold calculation rather than fear. He wasn't done scheming. He'd never be done. But for now, the immediate threat was contained. Naruto and the Hokage stood in the empty office, surrounded by evidence of Root's crimes, files on illegal experiments, assassination records, documents detailing plans to control Jinchuriki. Thank you, Hiruzen said quietly, for restraining yourself. I know you wanted to kill him. Not really. He's too pathetic to bother killing. Naruto looked at the files. But you need to actually punish him this time, old man. House arrest won't work. He'll just rebuild Root in secret. I know. The trial will be public, his crimes exposed. Even his supporters will abandon him when they see the extent of his activities. And if they don't, Hiruzen's expression turned hard. Then I'll remind them who's Hokage. They left Root headquarters to be dismantled by Anbu teams. The sun was rising, painting Konoha in gold again, and Naruto felt a small measure of satisfaction. One threat down, countless more waiting. The grind never stopped. 2 months passed in relative peace. Danzo's trial was public and damning. The evidence presented made even his most loyal supporters turn away. He was sentenced to permanent confinement in Anbu's highest security prison, his chakra sealed, his influence destroyed. Root operatives were reassigned or retired. Most chose civilian life over continued service. A few joined standard Anbu, their skills useful if properly directed. Konoha stabilized. The village's reputation, damaged by the invasion and political scandal, slowly recovered. Other nations watched nervously, uncertain how to deal with a hidden village that harbored the Shadow Monarch. Team 7 trained daily in instant dungeons. Sasuke reached Jonin-level capability, his Sharingan evolving through constant combat stress. Sakura developed hybrid fighting style, medical techniques supplemented by shadow magic Naruto taught her. Kakashi pushed past his copy ninja limits, this learning from Igris and developing techniques that were his own rather than stolen. They became genuinely elite, a team that could handle A-rank missions with ease. Hinata trained separately with Naruto, her growth accelerating past her clan's expectations. She unlocked a Byakugan evolution, her eyes able to see seconds into the future by reading chakra flow probabilities. Combined with Gentle Fist, it made her nearly untouchable in close combat. Their relationship developed slowly, awkwardly. Two people who never really had connections learning how to be close. They had quiet dinners, training sessions that turned into sparring matches, that turned into laughter. Moments on rooftops watching stars, talking about everything and nothing. Naruto found himself smiling more, feeling more. The cold efficiency of the Shadow Monarch warming into something human again. Jin-Woo had sacrificed his humanity for power. Naruto was reclaiming his without sacrificing strength. It felt like winning. Level up, level 75 achieved, shadow save, mark multiple locations. The system rewarded his progress. Naruto marked 3 locations immediately: his apartment, the Hokage monument, and the training ground. Emergency exit points if he needed to escape danger instantly. His shadow army grew to 300,000 soldiers through constant dungeon grinding. He'd cleared every instant dungeon difficulty up to S rank, though SS rank remained locked behind a level requirement he hadn't reached yet. "You're getting close to Jin-Woo's mid-tier strength," Hinata observed during one training session. She'd started reading the system's displays. It had granted her limited access as his acknowledged partner. Another 20 levels, and you'll hit his peak before the Monarch's first war. Not enough. He had 10 million soldiers by the end. I have 300,000. That's a decimal error. You also have 2 years of subjective growth compressed into 2 months. You're progressing faster than he did. True. Jin-Woo had taken years to hit level 75. Naruto had done it in half that time through optimized grinding and strategic dungeon selection. But the system's warning about monarchs meant time was limited. He needed to accelerate further. "I'm going to try an SS rank dungeon," he decided. "You're not high enough level." "I know, but I need the challenge. Stagnation is death." Hinata recognized that stubborn tone. "Then I'm coming with you." "It's too dangerous. I can see chakra flow probabilities now. I'll know when attacks are coming before they land. Plus, my gentle fist can disrupt any enemy's energy system." She crossed her arms. "You promised we'd face threats together. This is a threat." Naruto wanted to argue, but she was right. Facing danger together had been his whole point, not repeating Jinwoo's isolation. And Hinata was legitimately powerful now, Jonin level at minimum. "Fine, but we bring backup. Elite shadows only." Deal. They entered the SS rank instant dungeon that evening. The portal opened to a hellscape. Rivers of lava, floating platforms of obsidian, monsters the size of buildings, roaring challenges across broken terrain. Monarch's Dungeon. Recommended level 85. Survival probability 34%. "Encouraging," Naruto muttered. They fought for subjective hours. Hinata's precognition let her dodge attacks that would have liquefied normal humans. Her gentle fist, enhanced with chakra control Naruto had taught her, destroyed monsters' cores with surgical precision. Naruto commanded his elite shadows: Bellion, Igris, Beru, Tank, Iron Tusk in coordinated assault. The 7 of them moved like extensions of his will, covering weaknesses, exploiting openings, adapting to enemy patterns. It was brutal, exhausting. Nearly separate times when boss-tier monsters appeared that outclassed their preparation. But they survived. Level up! Level up! Level 78 achieved. Shadow extraction available. 47 new soldiers. Title gained. Monarch's Challenger. Naruto extracted every shadow he could from the defeated monsters. Elite types, mostly. Warriors and mages and specialists with capabilities beyond standard infantry. His army grew to 315,000 soldiers. They emerged from the dungeon bloodied, exhausted, but victorious. Hinata collapsed immediately, her chakra reserves completely depleted. Naruto caught her, used a healing potion from his inventory, and carried her to his apartment. She woke up 2 hours later, groggy but alive. Did we win? We survived. Same thing in SS rank. Naruto set a bowl of ramen beside her, emergency food for chakra recovery. You were incredible. Your precognition saved us at least 6 times. And your shadows did the heavy lifting. She ate mechanically, her body demanding fuel. How much did we gain? 3 levels for me. Your chakra capacity doubled from the strain. We're both stronger. Worth the near-death experience? Naruto thought about it honestly. Yeah, Jin-Woo became strong by pushing past limits constantly. Comfort is stagnation. Pain is growth. That's a depressing philosophy, but effective. They fell into comfortable silence, Hinata eating while Naruto checked his shadow army's new composition. The SS rank extractions had given him specialists, shadow assassins with stealth capability, shadow tanks with defensive skills that rival tanks, shadow mages with elemental magic beyond basic attack spells. His forces were diversifying, becoming more versatile. Quest update: the Monarch's arrival. 73% probable within 12 months. Recommendation: Achieve level 100 minimum. Remaining requirement, 22 levels, 12 months, maybe less. The timeline was accelerating. Naruto dismissed the notification. Worrying about it accomplished nothing. He'd just keep grinding, keep growing, keep preparing. When the monarchs came, he'd be ready, or he'd die trying. The international summit happened 6 months later, called by the Raikage who'd finally convinced other Kages that ignoring the Shadow Monarch was dangerous. Representatives from all 5 major villages gathered in neutral territory, the Land of Iron, governed by samurai instead of ninja. Hiruzen attended, flanked by his Jonin and Anbu. Naruto came as unofficial bodyguard, explicitly not on the guest list, but impossible to exclude. The other Kages arrived with their own forces. Raikage A, the mountain of muscle who led Cloud Village. Tsuchikage Onoki, the ancient warrior who'd fought wars before Hiruzen was born. Kazekage Gaara, the reformed Jinchuriki who'd befriended Naruto during a separate encounter. Mizukage Mei, the beautiful but deadly leader of Mist. They gathered in a circular chamber, each Kage seated with their advisors, guards stationed at intervals. The atmosphere was tense, politics and power balanced on knife's edge. We're here to discuss Uzumaki Naruto, the Raikage began, his voice booming. The so-called Shadow Monarch. His existence threatens the balance of power between villages. How exactly? Hiruzen asked mildly. He's done nothing aggressive toward any nation. He defeated Akatsuki leadership, Onoki pointed out. Single-handedly ended an organization that threatened all Jinchuriki. That level of power concentrated in one person is destabilizing. I think you'd be grateful, Naruto said from his position behind Hiruzen. Akatsuki was hunting tailed beasts. I stopped them. You're welcome. The Raikage's eye twitched. You're not part of this discussion, boy. I'm literally the topic. Seems relevant that I participate. This is a Kage summit, and I'm here anyway. Deal with it. Silence. The audacity of a 14-year-old. Naruto had aged up during the time skip. Speaking to world leaders like equals was either admirable or suicidal depending on perspective. Gaara spoke up, his quiet voice carrying weight. Naruto-san helped save my village during the Akatsuki incursion. His shadows protected civilians while our ninja fought. I consider him an ally. San's position is noted, Onoki said dismissively. But alliance with one village doesn't address the broader concern. What happens when he decides Konoha isn't enough? When he wants to expand his influence? I don't want to expand anything, Naruto said flatly. I protect Konoha. That's it. I'm not building an empire, not conquering nations, not threatening anyone. You're manufacturing problems that don't exist. Power of your magnitude always causes problems, the Raikage insisted. History proves it. Strong individuals become tyrants, dictators, warlords. Better to address the threat now than wait for inevitability. You're suggesting what exactly? Assassination? Coalition attack? Naruto's tone stayed calm, but his eyes glowed faint blue. Because I'll be honest, that'll end badly for everyone involved. Mei Terumi leaned forward, her green eyes calculating. What if we offered you a position? Neutral arbiter between villages, answering to all Kages equally. Your power could maintain peace instead of threatening it. I don't answer to anyone but the Hokage. I made an oath. Oaths can be renegotiated. Mine can't. The Mizukage sat back, frustrated. These leaders were used to negotiating, compromising, finding political solutions. Naruto's absolute refusal to play that game confused them. Hiruzen cleared his throat. Perhaps a demonstration would clarify the situation. Naruto, would you show them your capabilities? Limited display, nothing threatening. Naruto considered it. Showing strength might intimidate them into backing off, or it might convince them he needed to be eliminated immediately. Gamble either way. All right, but we do this outside. I'm not destroying your summit chamber. They relocated to a large courtyard, samurai guards forming perimeter. The 5 Kages stood in a line, watching as Naruto walked to the center of the space. How many shadows do you want to see? He asked. All of them, Onoki said. If you're claiming to be unstoppable, prove it. All of them would level this compound. I'll summon 10,000. That's enough for assessment. 10,000? The Raikage sounded incredulous. You can't possibly arise. The shadows came. They poured from Naruto's darkness like a black tide, filling the courtyard in perfect formation. Infantry, knights, mages, archers, specialists, all standing at attention, weapons ready, eyes glowing blue. 10,000 soldiers, each one a former enemy turned loyal servant, each one willing to die permanently for their king. The display took 30 seconds. When it finished, the courtyard was packed with shadows, the sheer numbers overwhelming. Samurai guards backed away nervously. Even the Kages looked uncomfortable. "This is 1% of my full strength," Naruto said calmly. "I have 315,000 soldiers currently. By year's end, I'll probably hit 500,000. My growth is exponential, not linear. Every battle makes me stronger. Every enemy defeated adds to my forces." "That's an army that could conquer the continent," Onoki breathed. "Yes, it could, but it won't, because I'm not interested in conquest. I'm interested in protection." Naruto gestured, and the shadows dissolved back into darkness. "You wanted to assess the threat I represent. Now you know. The question is whether you'll accept that I'm not your enemy, or whether you'll force me to become one." The Raikage's fists clenched. "That sounds like a threat." "It's a clarification. If you attack me, I'll defend myself. If you leave me alone, we have no problems. Simple. Nothing about you is simple, boy." So Gaara stepped forward. "I propose an alliance. Formal recognition of Naruto-san as Konoha's Shadow Monarch, with treaties guaranteeing non-aggression between his forces and our villages. In exchange, he agrees to eliminate S-rank threats that threaten any signatory nation." "Mercenary work," Mei said thoughtfully. "He'd be a deterrent against rogue elements while remaining neutral politically." "I'm not neutral. I'm Konoha's." Naruto looked at Hiruzen. "But if Hokage-sama authorizes it, I'll take contracts that align with village interests." Hiruzen considered carefully. An alliance structure gave other villages stake in Naruto's loyalty, reducing their fear while maintaining his autonomy. Politically clever. "Acceptable," the Hokage said, "with the caveat that Konoha retains final authority over Naruto's deployment." Onoki grumbled but nodded. The Raikage looked like he wanted to argue, but recognized the political reality. Fighting Naruto would cost too much, even if they won. "Fine," the Mountain of Muscle said. "But if he steps out of line, if he threatens any village unprovoked, the alliance is void and we respond with combined force." "Fair enough," Naruto agreed. "Though you should know, combined force still wouldn't be enough. Just saying." The Raikage's eye twitched again. Guy would have liked him. They formalized the treaty over the next 2 days. Papers were signed, terms agreed upon, political theater performed. Naruto was officially recognized as the Shadow Monarch, allied with Konoha, available for S-rank contracts at exorbitant rates. Several nations immediately submitted requests. Naruto accepted 3: eliminate a rogue samurai group terrorizing the Land of Iron's northern provinces, clear out a nest of SS-rank monsters that had appeared mysteriously in the Land of Lightning's mountain range, investigate dimensional anomalies detected by Mist Village's sensor division. The first 2 were straightforward. Naruto handled them in under a week. His shadows overwhelmed the rogue samurai, and the SS-rank monsters provided excellent experience for leveling up. Level 82 achieved. The third request was more interesting. Dimensional anomalies, gates opening to somewhere else. The Mist sensors had detected 3 separate rifts in reality, each one radiating energy that didn't match any known chakra signature. Naruto knew what they were immediately. Monarch gates. The chaos world bleeding through. He took Team 7 and Hinata, telling them the truth about what they'd face. Sasuke and Sakura looked skeptical but trusted him. Kakashi was concerned but prepared. Hinata just squeezed his hand. Together, she reminded him. They traveled to Mist Village, met with Mei, who showed them the sensor data, and tracked the nearest anomaly to a coastal region where reality was visibly warping. The gate looked exactly like Jin-Woo's memories showed. A tear in space, edges crackling with purple energy, darkness visible through the opening. And emerging from it were creatures that shouldn't exist in the ninja world. Shadow soldiers. Not Naruto's. These were wild, uncontrolled remnants of the Chaos World's armies. They poured through the gate in waves, mindless and aggressive, attacking everything nearby. "What are those?" Sakura demanded. "Soldiers from my previous world," Naruto said grimly. "The monarchs are sending scouts, testing defenses, looking for me." "How many?" Kakashi asked, already preparing jutsu. "Hundreds now. Thousands soon. Maybe millions if the gate stabilizes." "Then we close it," Sasuke said, sharing on spinning. "How?" "Destroy the gate's anchor. Should be a core somewhere nearby, concentrating the dimensional energy. Naruto's eyes scanned the area, tracking power flows. There, half a mile inland, buried in a cave system. Team 7 with me, Kakashi ordered. We'll handle the core. Naruto, can your shadows hold the line here? Easily. He summoned his marshals, Bellion, Igris, Beru, plus tank and iron for defense. Hold this position. Nothing gets through. As you command, my king, Beru roared, already charging into the enemy ranks with all four arms swinging. Team 7 and Hinata pushed inland, while Naruto's shadows engaged the wild soldiers. The battle was chaotic. Shadow versus shadow, his controlled forces against the Chaos World's mindless remnants. His soldiers were winning. Better equipped, better trained, driven by loyalty instead of base aggression. But the sheer numbers were concerning. If this was just a scouting force, what would a real monarch invasion look like? They found the core in a cave exactly where Naruto predicted, a crystal the size of a person, pulsing with purple energy, anchoring the dimensional rift. Kakashi analyzed it with Sharingan while Sasuke and Sakura kept watch. It's not chakra-based, Kakashi reported. More like conceptual energy, reality manipulation on fundamental level. Can you destroy it? Naruto asked. Maybe, if we hit it with enough concentrated force simultaneously. I have something for that. Naruto looked at his teammates. Everyone, full power attack on my mark. Kakashi, Raikiri, Sasuke, Chidori, Sakura, chakra enhanced strike. Hinata, gentle fist, heaven's wrath. That last one was a technique Naruto had helped her develop. Concentrated Byakugan energy focused into a single point. They positioned around the crystal, charging their techniques. Energy crackled, lightning, chakra, pure force building to critical mass. Now! 4 attacks hit simultaneously. The crystal shattered, dimensional energy exploding outward in a shockwave that knocked everyone off their feet. The cave trembled, reality groaning as the anchor was destroyed. Outside, the gate began collapsing. Wild shadows shrieked, dissolving as their connection to the Chaos World severed. Naruto's marshals cut down the remainder efficiently. Within minutes, the gate was gone. Reality sealed itself, the anomaly erased. Quest complete, dimensional anomaly eliminated. Reward, insight into Monarch invasion timeline. Similar gates will continue appearing. Estimated full invasion, 6 to 8 months. 6 to 8 months. Less than a year before the Monarchs arrived in force, Naruto shared the information with his team. Their expressions ranged from determination Sasuke to worry, Sakura to grim acceptance, Kakashi and Hinata. 6 months to prepare for something that nearly destroyed your previous world, Kakashi summarized. That's not a lot of time. It's what we have. We use it. Naruto looked at each of them. I'm going to grind harder than ever. Push my level past 100, expand my army past 1 million soldiers. You don't have to keep up. I know I'm asking a lot. We're Team 7, Sasuke said. We keep up or die trying. That's the deal. Sakura nodded. I'm not letting you face this alone. Hinata just squeezed his hand again. Together. Always together. They reported back to Mei, explaining the gate's nature without revealing everything about monarchs, just enough to warn that more anomalies would likely appear. Mist Village increased their sensor coverage and promised to alert Konoha of any future rifts. Team 7 returned home to prepare for war. The final 6 months were brutal. Naruto opened instant dungeons daily, grinding through SS rank content with mechanical efficiency. His level climbed steadily. Level 85, level 88, level 91, level 94, level 97. His shadow army expanded exponentially. Every dungeon cleared added hundreds of soldiers. Every gate that opened, and 3 more did, scattered across the continent, provided wild shadows to extract after they were defeated. By month 5, Naruto commanded 850,000 soldiers. By month 6, over 1 million. Team 7 trained alongside him when they could, their own growth accelerating through shared experience. Sasuke's Sharingan evolved to Mangekyo through controlled trauma, a battle where he nearly died, saved only by Naruto's shadows. The experience unlocked new visual powers without the madness that usually came with Mangekyo activation. Sakura mastered shadow healing techniques, able to resurrect recently dead tissue using borrowed power from Naruto's army. It made her the most valuable medic in Konoha's history. Kakashi pushed past his limits, developing a technique that combined his Raikiri with shadow energy, a lightning strike that could pierce dimensional barriers. He called it Shadow Lightning, dimensional cutter. Hinata's Byakugan fully evolved into what she called Tenseigan prototype. Not the true Tenseigan, but a step toward it. Her precognition extended to 10 seconds forward, and she could see across dimensions, detecting monarch gates before they stabilized. The village prepared for invasion. Hiruzen mobilized every available ninja, established defensive positions, stockpiled supplies. Other villages sent support. Gaara brought Sans military. Mei contributed Miss Sensor Corps. Even the Raikage sent a battalion despite his earlier skepticism. The ninja world united against external threat for the first time in history, and still it might not be enough. On the last day of the 6th month, Naruto stood on the Hokage monument surveying his kingdom. Konoha spread below, reinforced and ready, his shadow army hidden in every darkness, waiting to be called. Level 100 achieved, title gained 1,250,000 soldiers. All skills unlocked, final ability gained, domain of the absolute monarch. The system congratulated him on reaching Jin-Woo's peak level. He'd done in 1 year what took the original Shadow Monarch decades. Now came the test. The sky above Konoha tore open, not a small gate, not a rift. A massive dimensional wound, miles wide, bleeding purple light across the entire village. And through it came figures that radiated power beyond anything this world had encountered. The monarchs had arrived, 8 of them descended, each one a living concept given form. The Frost Monarch, ice incarnate, freezing reality with presence alone. The Plague Monarch, disease and decay rotting the world. The Beast Monarch, commanding infinite monsters. The Iron Monarch, metal and machinery, cold logic. The Destruction Monarch, pure annihilation. The Tranquil Monarch, death by peace, draining will to live. The Fang Monarch, predator beyond predators. The King of Berserk Dragons, leading dragon armies. And at their center, the strongest of all, the King of Demons, the absolute being's first creation, the original monarch. They looked down at the ninja world with contempt, their very presence making reality groan. "We sense him," the King of Demons said, voice echoing across dimensions. "The traitor Shadow Monarch, the one who killed us in the previous world. He hides here, pretending to be human again." Naruto stepped forward, visible on the monument, meeting their gaze without fear. "I'm not hiding," he said, his voice, amplified by ruler's authority, carried across the battlefield. "I'm here, and this is my kingdom now. You're not welcome." The Frost Monarch laughed, the sound like ice cracking. "Your kingdom? You're a child playing with stolen power. We are eternal. We've existed since creation itself. What makes you think you can oppose us?" Naruto raised both hands. His eyes glowed bright purple, not blue like usual, but the royal color of absolute authority. "Because I'm not alone this time." He activated his ultimate ability, the final skill unlocked at level 100. Domain of the absolute monarch. Reality inverted. The sky turned pitch black, stars winking out. Gravity shifted, becoming oppressive, crushing. The very laws of physics bent to Naruto's will within a 5-mile radius. His domain, his rules, his absolute authority. And then he spoke the words that would define the battle. "All forces, arise." Arise. The response was catastrophic. 1,250,000 shadow soldiers materialized simultaneously. They erupted from every darkness, the ground, buildings, the sky itself. Infantry covered the earth like black ocean. Knights formed ranks, shields raised. Mages floated in the air, staffs glowing. Archers lined every rooftop. Dragons circled overhead, not just Kaizel and Kamish, but dozens more Naruto had extracted from dungeon bosses. The 3 marshals appeared at his side. Bellion, Grand Marshal, chain whip sword already in motion. Igris, blood-red commander, his blade thirsting for monarch blood. Beru, Ant King, all 4 arms spread wide, mandibles clicking with barely suppressed violence. Behind them stood the 4th Marshal, Iron, now promoted to Grand Tank Commander, his shield the size of a house. "I am Sung Jin-Woo." Naruto's voice thundered across the battlefield, carrying the weight of 2 lifetimes, 2 names, 1 purpose. "I am Naruto Uzumaki. I am the Shadow Monarch, and this is my kingdom." His army roared in unison, the sound shaking mountains. The monarchs stared at the force arrayed against them, and for the first time in eternity, they felt something they'd forgotten: uncertainty. "You've grown strong," the King of Demons acknowledged. "Stronger than we anticipated, but you're still 1 monarch against 8. Your army, while impressive, cannot match our combined might." Then let's find out. Naruto raised one hand and his army charged. The Battle of Konoha began. The fighting was beyond anything the ninja world had ever witnessed. Monarchs clashed with shadow soldiers, their powers shaking reality itself. The Frost Monarch froze entire battalions solid with a wave of his hand. Ice spread across the battlefield, crystallizing buildings, turning the air to frozen mist. Shadow infantry shattered like glass, thousands dying instantly. But for every 100 that fell, Naruto extracted 1,000 more from the corpses. His army was self-sustaining in war. Every enemy killed became a soldier. The Frost Monarch's frozen victims rose again as shadows, turned against their killer. The Plague Monarch released diseases that rotted flesh on contact. Shadow soldiers collapsed, their bodies dissolving. But shadows were already dead. Disease had no lasting effect. They rose again, immune, adapting. The Beast Monarch summoned creatures from across dimensions, hydras, chimeras, leviathans. They clashed with Naruto's shadow beasts, the sky darkening with wings and scales. Kaizel and Kamish led the aerial assault, their dragonfire meeting the Beast Monarch's summoning magic in explosions that lit the sky. The Iron Monarch created mechanical armies, metal soldiers that marched with perfect precision. Tank met them head-on, his shield absorbing their cannon fire, his hammer crushing their armor. Shadow mages provided support, lightning spells frying circuits and melting steel. The Destruction Monarch was pure offense. Every gesture created explosions, every word caused shockwaves. He tore through shadow ranks like paper, destroying faster than Naruto could replace them. Bellion engaged him directly. The Grand Marshal's chain whip sword met the Destruction Monarch's power, obsidian links deflecting annihilation. They fought across the battlefield, moving so fast they appeared as blurs, leaving craters and devastation in their wake. The Tranquil Monarch was perhaps the most dangerous. His power didn't destroy, it simply made soldiers stop caring. They lost the will to fight, to live, to exist. Shadow infantry stood motionless, waiting for death. Igris countered him. The blood-red commander's killing intent was absolute. His desire for battle so pure that tranquility couldn't touch him. He carved through the Tranquil Monarch's influence, his sword leaving trails of crimson that cut through the peace. The Fang Monarch was a predator, teeth and claws and primal hunger given form. He tore into shadow soldiers with savage glee, devouring them, growing stronger with each kill. Baru matched him. Ant versus predator, mandibles versus fangs, forearms against claws. They fought like animals, no technique or strategy, just raw violence. The battlefield around them became a nightmare of chitin and blood. The king of berserk dragons commanded the largest dragon army. Hundreds of them, each one a continent destroyer, all breathing fire and lightning and death. Naruto's shadow dragons met them. Kaizel led the charge, his roar rallying the aerial forces. The sky became a war zone of scales and flames, dragons grappling mid-flight, crashing into buildings, shaking the earth with their impacts. And through it all, the king of demons watched, calculating, waiting for his moment. Naruto coordinated everything from the Hokage monument. His consciousness spread across the battlefield through his shadow's shared vision. He saw every fight simultaneously, adjusting tactics in real time, pulling soldiers from collapsing positions, reinforcing weak points. But the monarchs were winning. Not quickly, not easily, but winning. His army was massive, but theirs was infinite. They could summon endlessly from the chaos world, while Naruto was limited to what he'd extracted. He was burning through soldiers faster than he could replace them, the attrition war tilting against him. "We need to change tactics," Kakashi shouted from beside him. The Jonin had stayed close, supporting with jutsu where possible. "They're wearing you down!" "I know!" Naruto's hands moved in constant gestures, commanding units, issuing orders. "I need to eliminate them one by one. Divide their attention." "How?" "By giving them a target they can't ignore." Naruto's shadow exchanged to the battlefield's center, appearing directly between all 8 monarchs. His domain intensified, gravity crushing down, reality bending further. "You want me?" he shouted. "Come get me." They turned as one, 8 monarchs, their combined attention focused on the boy who'd killed them once before. "Foolish," the king of demons said. "You're exposing yourself. Or I'm making you predictable." Naruto activated every skill simultaneously. Bloodlust, visions of death flooding the monarchs' minds. Ruler's authority, telekinetic force grabbing all 8 at once. Stealth, his presence flickering, becoming harder to target. Vital Strike, his speed increasing beyond perception. Shadow Exchange, teleporting between soldiers, positions unpredictably. Domain of the Absolute Monarch, reality itself bending to his commands. He became a ghost on the battlefield, appearing and disappearing, landing strikes that shook monarchs in vulnerable forms, dodging attacks that could erase nations. The Frost Monarch swung at him. Naruto teleported, appeared behind him, drove his fist through ice armor with Vital Strike. The monarch screamed, surprised by pain. The Plague Monarch released a disease cloud. Naruto's domain purged it, air becoming clean through sheer will. He countered with shadow spears, hundreds of them, impaling the Plague Monarch repeatedly. The Beast Monarch summoned a Hydra. Naruto extracted its shadow mid-summoning, turning the beast against its master. The Hydra's 7 heads attacked the Beast Monarch, who stumbled back in shock. He was fast, stronger than he'd ever been. Fighting with the experience of 2 lifetimes, the power of 1,000,000 shadows, the absolute authority of a true monarch. But 8 against 1 was still impossible odds. The Iron Monarch caught him with a metal binding technique, chains erupting from the ground. Naruto was pulled down, pinned, vulnerable. The Destruction Monarch raised both hands, preparing to obliterate him. Shadow Save, activate! Naruto teleported to his marked position, the Hokage Monument, 3 miles away. The Destruction Monarch's attack hit empty ground, creating a crater half a mile wide where Naruto had been. Clever, the King of Demons observed. But you're just delaying the inevitable. You can't kill all of us. You're not strong enough. Maybe not alone. Naruto looked at the ninja forces assembled. Every village's military, thousands of jonin and chunin and specialized warriors, all ready to fight despite being outclassed. But I'm not alone. He raised his hand toward them, and his domain expanded, encompassing allies. Monarch's Blessing. Purple energy flowed from Naruto to every ninja in his domain. Their chakra reserves doubled, their physical capabilities enhanced, their techniques amplified beyond normal limits. It was a skill he'd never used before, something unlocked with Domain of the Absolute Monarch, the ability to empower allies using his authority. The ninja felt it immediately. Sasuke's Sharingan evolved mid-battle, his Mangekyo gaining new abilities. Hinata's Byakugan blazed brighter, her precognition extending to 30 seconds. Kakashi's Lightning Cutter gained purple edges, cutting through dimensional barriers. Across the battlefield, Chunin fought like Jonin, Jonin fought like Kage. The amplification was exponential, his entire allied force becoming genuinely threatening. Now, Naruto commanded, all forces attack! We end this! The combined assault was overwhelming. 1,000,000 shadow soldiers plus 20,000 enhanced ninja, all charging simultaneously. The monarchs met them, but the tide had shifted. Enhanced jutsu tore through their defenses. Shadow soldiers, now supported by living allies, adapted faster. Dragons coordinated with wind-style users, amplifying their fire. The Frost Monarch fell first. Sakura, enhanced to Kage-level strength, shattered his ice armor with a single punch. Shadow mages followed up, fire spells melting his core. Igris delivered the killing blow, his blade cutting the monarch's essence. The Frost Monarch dissolved, screaming, his power absorbed by Naruto's domain. Shadow extraction successful. The Frost Monarch has joined your army. The extracted monarch rose as a shadow, kneeling before Naruto. He'd turned an enemy into a soldier. The King of Demons sounded genuinely angry. That's impossible. Monarchs can't be extracted. Everything has a shadow, Naruto said calmly. Even gods. The remaining monarchs attacked with renewed fury, but it was too late. The momentum had shifted. One monarch down meant their coordination broke. They started fighting defensively instead of confidently. The Plague Monarch fell next, Hinata's Byakugan finding his core location despite his decaying form. Naruto extracted his shadow. The Beast Monarch lost control of his summons when Baru devoured his connection to the Chaos World. Extracted. The Iron Monarch's perfect logic failed against Sasuke's Mangekyo illusions. Extracted. The Tranquil Monarch's peace was shattered by Kakashi's Dimensional Cutter. Extracted. The Fang Monarch died to his own predatory instincts, Beru baiting him into overextension. Extracted. The King of Berserk Dragons fell to Kaizel and Kamish working together, the Shadow Dragons overwhelming their former king. Extracted. 7 monarchs down. 7 shadows extracted. 7 former enemies now part of Naruto's army. Only the King of Demons remained. He stood alone in the crater of their battlefield, his 8 companions kneeling as shadows behind Naruto. For the first time in existence, the first creation looked uncertain. "This is impossible," he said quietly. "We are eternal. We cannot be defeated." "You were defeated before," Naruto reminded him. "Jin-Woo killed you. I'm just finishing the job." He sacrificed everything to do it, became pure authority, gave up his humanity, rewound time itself. "I know. I have his memories." Naruto walked forward, his million shadow army parting to create a path. "But I'm not making his mistakes. I'm not sacrificing connection for power. I'm protecting people, not concepts." "Then you'll fail. Power requires sacrifice. You can't have both. Watch me." Naruto raised one hand. Behind him, his entire army raised their weapons in unison. 1 million soldiers plus 7 extracted monarchs, all ready to strike. "Last chance," Naruto said. "Surrender. Join my army. Use your eternity for protection instead of destruction." The King of Demons laughed bitterly. "You think I'd serve a child? I think you'd rather exist than be erased. Pride is a luxury you can't afford anymore." Silence. The King of Demons looked at his former companions, now shadows kneeling before their new monarch. He looked at the ninja world, scarred but still standing. He looked at Naruto, 14 years old and commanding forces that had killed gods. "Very well," he said finally. "I accept extraction. But know this, boy, the absolute being created us for a reason. We were meant to fight endlessly, to struggle, to evolve through conflict. If you extract me, that purpose doesn't change. I'll serve you, but I'll never stop pushing you to be stronger." "Good," Naruto said. "I need that. Stagnation is death." He activated extraction. The King of Demons dissolved into shadow, his essence pulled into Naruto's army. The process took minutes. The strongest monarch resisted even in acceptance, his power too vast to absorb quickly, but finally it finished. "Shadow extraction successful. The King of Demons has joined your army. Army 250,000 plus 8 monarchs." New title gained. The battlefield fell silent. Naruto stood at its center, surrounded by his army, 8 former monarchs kneeling before him. The dimensional rift above Konoha was closing. The Chaos World's connection severed. He'd won. The ninja world was safe. For now. Naruto dismissed his army, all except the 3 marshals and the 8 extracted monarchs. They remained visible, testament to what he'd accomplished. "Report," he said to Bellion. "Casualties among shadow forces, 93%, the Grand Marshal reported. Acceptable losses given enemy strength. Extraction during battle replenished 78%. Net loss 15% of total forces. Ninja casualties? Minimal. Your blessing protected most. 17 confirmed deaths among allied forces, 43 wounded but stable. 17 deaths, 43 wounded. Against 8 monarchs, that was a miracle." Hiruzen approached, looking older than ever, his Hokage robes torn and bloody. "Is it over?" "The immediate threat, yes. But the Chaos World knows I'm here now. They'll send more eventually." Naruto looked at his extracted monarchs, his shadow army still numbering over 1 million despite losses, his level now 100 with full skills unlocked. "Yes, I can handle whatever comes." The Hokage nodded, then did something unexpected. He bowed. Deep, formal, acknowledging superior. "Thank you, Shadow Monarch. You saved us all." Naruto felt uncomfortable with the gesture. "I protected my kingdom. That's what kings do. Nevertheless, thank you." The village celebrated that night. Konoha threw a festival despite the damage, despite the exhaustion, because they'd survived the impossible. Other villages' forces joined in, former enemies becoming allies through shared battle. Naruto didn't attend. He sat on the Hokage monument, staring at stars, processing what he'd accomplished and what it meant. He defeated the monarchs, extracted them, turned his greatest enemies into his strongest soldiers. Jin-Woo would have been proud or horrified. Hard to say with that man. Footsteps. Hinata appeared, carrying 2 bowls of ramen, sitting beside him without asking permission. "You're thinking too loud again," she said, handing him a bowl. "I do that." "I know." She ate quietly, just being present. After a minute, "You did it. You saved the world. I saved this village. The world's bigger than Konoha. You know what I mean?" He did. Naruto accepted the ramen, ate mechanically, his mind elsewhere. Jin-Woo saved his world by giving up everything human. I saved mine by holding on to it. Does that make me stronger or weaker? Stronger, Hinata said without hesitation. You have something worth protecting. He only had duty. There's a difference. Is there? Yes. She leaned against his shoulder. Duty is cold, love is warm. Which one would you rather fight for? Naruto thought about that. About Team 7, about the village, about the girl currently using him as furniture, about connections that made existence meaningful instead of just functional. Love, he admitted. Definitely love. Then you're stronger. Jin-Woo was powerful, but you're complete. That's the difference. They sat in comfortable silence, watching Konoha celebrate below, the village glowing with festival lights and laughter. The Shadow Monarch had returned, but this time he had a home, and that made all the difference. Epilogue: The King's Throne. 3 months after the Monarch invasion, Konoha had rebuilt, stronger than before, reinforced with techniques borrowed from Naruto's shadows, protected by barriers that could withstand dimensional tears. The village had become a fortress, but not an isolated one. Other nations still visited, still traded, still maintained alliances, because they knew what protected Konoha now. Naruto stood in his apartment. He'd finally upgraded from the cramped studio to an actual house, complete with training room and shadow storage. Hinata had moved in officially last week, her clan accepting the relationship after she demonstrated her combat prowess during the invasion. The Hyuga were pragmatic. Power married to power strengthened both bloodlines. Team 7 assembled in his living room, looking relaxed for the first time in months. Kakashi was reading his book. Sasuke was arguing with Sakura about something pointless. Normal dynamics, despite everything they'd been through. Mission briefing, Naruto said, getting their attention. The Hokage wants us to investigate another dimensional anomaly. Small one, probably just a scout gate, but it needs handling. Rank? Sasuke asked. A rank officially. Probably S rank realistically. Monarchs might send remnant forces. So a Tuesday, Sakura said wryly. When do we leave? Tomorrow morning. Gear up. Prep your techniques. This should be straightforward, but treat it seriously. They dispersed, leaving Naruto alone with Hinata. She'd been quiet during the briefing, her Byakugan active more often lately. What's wrong? He asked. I'm seeing something, she admitted. Future probabilities are shifting. Like something big is coming, but I can't determine what. Bigger than monarchs? Different. Not a threat exactly, more like convergence. She frowned, trying to articulate what her evolved Byakugan showed. Multiple timelines touching this one. Realities bleeding together. Naruto felt cold certainty settle in his chest. The absolute being. What? The entity that created the monarchs and rulers, the source of Jinwoo's power. If it's noticing this world, if it's taking interest, he trailed off, the implications terrifying. Can you fight it? Jinwoo couldn't. He only survived by becoming its equal, turning himself into a concept rather than a person. Naruto looked at his hands, still human, still warm, still capable of feeling. I won't make that sacrifice. Then we prepared differently. Hinata took his hands. You have allies now, an army, other villages backing you. We face it together, whatever comes. You keep saying that. Because it's true. You're not alone, Naruto. You'll never be alone again. He pulled her close, feeling her heartbeat against his chest, real and warm and alive.
The monarch's conquest has only just begun. What did you think of this dark evolution for Naruto? Thank you for watching our epic What If. To continue this journey and explore more insane realities, subscribe to the channel and join our ranks. We'll see you in the next one.